Southern, Zoltan has got to find his rhythm today, right? Hasn't really found his rhythm yet this season. Granted, he's played against two really good opponents in Vanderbilt and Coastal Carolina, but expect him to find his rhythm today. He played the best game of his career on this field 2 years ago against Lindenwood. Threw 2 touchdowns, got a big win for the Bucks, so expect him to play his best football this season today. And then for Lindenwood, Nate Glantz has got to stay hot, right? He's the reason that Lindenwood almost beat App State last week. The run defense for Lindenwood has got to show up. And, they've given up 200 yards of running through 200 yards on the ground through 2 games so far this year. So they've got to be able to slow down the Charleston Southern rushing attack. And then they've got to try and keep Zoltan from finding his rhythm today.
A lot of impact players for today's rosters. You mentioned it, Zoltan Osborne and Kamarian Baldwin, the transferred JMU running back for the Buccaneers. And Glantz, the offense runs through him if you're Lindenwood. And we'll get to see the Lions offense first as they take the field for the opening kick. Beautiful, partly cloudy skies here in Charleston, South Carolina. Temperature 81 degrees right at kickoff. We thank you again for being with us. Again, the first OVC Big South contest of this season. You're watching college football on ESPN+, and we are thrilled to be here with you. On to kick it away for the Buccaneers is the redshirt junior Will Lang. A couple of kickoffs so far this season, including 2 against Vanderbilt in Week 1. We mentioned it off the top, Buccaneers losers of 12 straight in a row. They've taken their lumps over the last couple of weeks, but this would be a great time to get back on track with a win in your conference against a very formidable Lindenwood team.
There's nothing like that first home game of the season, playing in front of your fans. Everyone's super excited to have football back in their hometown, back in their home stadium. So I know these guys are juiced up in their new blue jerseys, ready to roll. I know they're excited.
The blue crew is ready. Cheerleaders are ready. We are ready. Jaden Patrick and C.J. Bennett back to receive the opening kick, and we are underway from the shipyard. And that kick will sail into the back of the end zone. And the Lindenwood offense will start from the 25-yard line. Here comes quarterback Nate Glantz. This is a Lindenwood team that a season ago ended the season on a hot 4-game win streak, including a big upset win over SEMO. It was a 24-12 victory. This is a team that averaged $175 on the ground and returns the offensive player of the year, the freshman of the year, offensive rookie of the year, in Steve Hall, battling an ankle injury, so it'll be Jared Rhodes getting the starting tailback look here on 1st and 10. First play from scrimmage, Glantz rolls to his right, quick throw, and it's dropped.
Yeah, Charleston Southern playing a 4-deep shell there, allowing a guy wide open in the flat. Would have been a nice 9-yard pickup for Lindenwood, and a great ball from Glantz off the scramble, but just wasn't able to come up with it.
Off the hands of Jalen Smith, the redshirt sophomore. This wide receiver group for Lindenwood can be a little dangerous. Drew Crobath and Rico Bond, probably the 2 stars of this group. Bond, the reigning OVC Big South Freshman of the Week. He is brought down after a gain of 2.
Be third and long here coming up, so expect Lindenwood to put the ball in Glantz's hands to try and get it down the field. But Charleston Southern, first 2 plays, they're playing that 4-deep coverage, trying to take away the deep stuff from Glantz. So let's see if they play up a little bit closer here to try to prevent them from getting a little third and medium.
Lindenwood averaging 3rd and long a lot this season, only 7 of 29 converting. It's 24%. Glantz feeling the pressure, throws a dart right into the hands of Jalen Smith. Overcomes that early drop, picks up a fresh set of downs for the Lions.
It's a great ball there by Glantz. Moved the change. He knew exactly where he wanted to go with that pre-snap.
We were told just before kickoff that the Buccaneers are going to be missing 3 key starters on defense. Chandler Perry, Tylen Hollis, and Champ Brantley all out. Still a little banged up from that Coastal game last week.
Looks like Charleston Southern is trying to move to from a 2 high down to a 1 high. Expecting Glantz to see that.
Rhodes takes a tumble. Looks like he tripped over the quarterback there. Loses 2. So we've mentioned it a couple of times. The Lions got off to a pretty good start this season offensively, despite 2 losses at St. Thomas and App State, averaging about 300 yards of offense both of those games. They were able to find the end zone, but again, 3rd down and working from behind the chains really been a problem for them. So that's Bond goes in motion. Trip set on the right. 2nd and long. Glance feeling the heat again. Chase down from behind. Justin Waters, Mega Man as they call him, brings him down for the sack down to the 30-yard line.
And Glance just didn't see that free rusher coming. That's a guy he's got to account for him to see that. He's got to try to slide the line one way or the other because he came right up the middle on that.
Talking to Gabe Gardenia earlier this week, said Justin Waters is a freak athlete out there. You certainly don't want to see him up the middle. And if you've seen him out of pads, he's just as scary, I promise you. Sets up a 3rd and long for the Lions. Glance steps up into the pocket, throws on the run, and it's caught. Good tackle there by Jaden Hancock. Brings up 4th down, and the Lions will be forced to punt it away.
And that pass defense for Charleston Southern showing up there on that first drive. I know that'll give them a lot of confidence moving forward, seeing them force Nate Glance and that Lindenwood offense into a punt on that first drive.
Through 2 games, the Lions have surrendered 10 sacks this season, so Glance is always having to look over his shoulder a little bit. This is a very young offensive line, only 1 returning starter from a year ago. As A.J. Vinatieri, yes, that Vinatieri, back to punt it away for the Lions. Ooh. Jamil Bishop clears it. And he steps out after a nice return. In fact, that was Chris Roan, rather, the starting wide receiver. As on comes the Buccaneer offense. We mentioned Zoltan Osborne. This game means so much to him. 2 years ago against the Lions, went down, blew out his knee. This is his first home start in 2 years. All roads lead back to Lindenwood.
Again, the best game of his career came against these guys 2 years ago, so expect him to feel confident about today.
Split formation. As the first handoff of the season goes to Baldwin. Baldwin still on his feet trying to bounce outside. Late flag comes in. Ends up being no gain. Holding's going to be on the right tackle, Andrew Threat. Preseason all-team, all-conference first team, rather. But tough for Charleston Southern as they back up to the 36, 37-yard line.
That's a really tough penalty after that really nice punt return that got them really close to midfield. To be back now 1st and 20 really sets you behind the chains as a play caller.
Calling the plays for Charleston Southern is the first-year OC, Seth Strickland. Still trying to get into a rhythm here with Osborne and this offense. They got shut out last week against Coastal Carolina. Handoff to Baldwin again, trying to find some room, nothing doing. Gain of maybe 1.
And hopefully the OC sees that there's not a lot of deep coverage that Lindenwood is playing, at least on that last play right there. Expect Charleston Southern to try to take a shot over top and expose. There's really no one back there playing safety on that last play. And they're playing up really tight on Charleston Southern.
Lions pass defense averaging about 9 yards a play. So some opportunities to potentially push it downfield if you're the Buccaneers. On 2nd and long, little give. That's Bishop trying to turn the corner. And he's brought down. It's a nice tackle there by Jacob Waller.
And that goes on the stat sheet as a completion for Zoltan Osborne. Get him a little bit of confidence, getting a little 6-yard gain on that little flip right to his man.
Bishop, one of the returning stars for this Buccaneer offense. He and Quade Kindle are the speed demons. So in open space, they can be dangerous. So on 3rd and long, Buccaneers split 3 to the left. Baldwin the back next to Osborne. Osborne, plenty of time. Steps up, looking for a man, pushing it downfield. Has him! Chris Roan! First down, Buccaneers at the 17-yard line.
That's a great job there by Zoltan, being really patient, just keeping his eyes downfield, doing a nice job scrambling, and then puts it right on him for a huge play.
Buccaneers going hurry up now. Baldwin again, up the middle. Not going to get much. So Zoltan Osborne, first completion, and it was a beauty. That's got to boost his confidence here early in the first quarter.
There's no kidding. He's averaging 55 passing yards a game the first 2 games of the season, and that completion right there nearly totaled what he's been throwing the last couple of games.
8:50 to go here in quarter number 1. Buccaneers knocking on the doorstep. Roan comes in motion, and we have a flag. Another penalty on the offensive line. This time Ethan Hunt called for the false start.
And you'd like to see Charleston Southern be a little bit cleaner right now. It's their first game at home, but it's their 3rd this season. Usually you're getting those early penalties out of the way as an offensive line that's not on the same page in that first game. But these guys should be in a little bit more unison right now.
Backs it up, 2nd and 14. The give to Mush, breaks it outside, shakes off one tackler. Not going to do a second. Eric Grant shoves him out of bounds. Buccaneers sideline wanted a flag, nothing doing.
Yeah, that was a judgment call there. Could have gone either way, which would have really put Charleston Southern in a great spot to score. But I guess 3rd and 11 coming up here.
Eric Grant, one of the veteran defensive backs for this Lions team, coming off a solid week against App State. 2 tackles, an interception, and 2 pass breakups. Star of last week, though, is probably the corner, Jaden Patrick, who Gabe Gardini called one of the best players in our league. Knocked the ball out at the 1-yard line, ended up being a touchback, which really swung the game. On 3rd and long, Osborne feeling the heat, has a man, and it's caught. Great grab there right at the sticks. That'll be a Buccaneer first down. That's the tight end. Excuse me, that is Mekhi Campfield, rather. Junior from Columbia. Blanket coverage all over him. Somehow came down with that ball.
It's a great job by Zoltan again, standing strong in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield. That rush was bearing down on him hard, and he just throws a dart right across the middle of the field for a first down.
Sets up 1st and goal from the 8. Buccaneers' first drive of the game. Bishop in motion. Comes back around. The quick pitch. Mush leading the way. 5. Down at the 1 goes Bishop.
Really padding Zoltan's stat sheet here with all those little flip passes. It's going down on the stat sheet as passing yards.
We've seen Seth Strickland so far try bounce it outside on this opening drive. He sees something trying to crash down on those defensive ends. Great job, though, by Mush. Lead blocking. If Bishop isn't tripped up, he walks into the end zone. Sets up 2nd and goal from about the 1.5-yard line. Mush in at tailback. Roan and Campfield split out to the left. And a timeout is called by Charleston Southern. Gabe Gardenia wants to talk it over. We're going to take a quick media timeout. You are watching OVC Big South Football on ESPN+. Down. Buccaneers facing 2nd and goal. Brandon Mush, the tailback. Mush will walk in untouched. Touchdown, Buccaneers. The first touchdown of 2025 for the Bucs. And it's a big one in front of the home fans.
It's a huge confidence builder for Charleston Southern right there to be able to, on the very first drive, your first game back at home, march all the way down the field after getting set behind the chains a few different times there to be able to put the points on the board, not only points, but your first touchdown of the year. That's huge for them.
So the opening drive goes for 6 for the Buccaneers. And really, Zoltan Osborne put the team on his back there.
He did, absolutely. That was a huge play to make on 3rd and long to get them all the way down inside the red zone. So, again, that was one of the keys, right? Zoltan getting them rhythm. I think he's in rhythm.
Extra point is good from Gilbert Brown, and the Buccaneers have their first lead of the season. We'll keep it right here as the Buccaneers get ready to kick it away. Ends with a Brandon Mush touchdown, and we were saying, that has to feel so good for the Buccaneers, who just have struggled offensively the first 2 weeks.
Absolutely, absolutely, especially for Zoltan Osborne. Again, on that first drive, he elapsed more yards than he had in both of those first 2 games against Vanderbilt and against Coastal Carolina, getting 62 yards off that first drive. So I know Zoltan's super confident, and I know that energy is radiating throughout the team right now.
We saw Gabe Gardini on the sideline, too, came up and give a nice pat on the back there to Sept Strickland, the offensive coordinator. Huge weight off his shoulders now, too.
Well, it's tough to get behind the chains like that. They did a great job of settling the storm, being behind the chains a few times, and still being able to get positive plays and in the drive off with 6.
Blue crew on their feet. It's Will Lang set to kick it away for the Bucs. Charleston Southern leading for the first time since mid-November last year against Eastern Illinois. So that ball is going to be fair caught. And here comes the Lion offense once again. Their last drive cut short after a big sack there by Justin Waters.
It was a great play. Great play. Nate Glantz has got to see those free rushes coming and adjust his offensive line if he wants to stay on his feet today.
We mentioned it. A lot of new faces along that Lions offensive line. Gavin Hewlett, one of the lone returners, named to the association preseason watch list. Redshirt senior from Fort Worth, Texas, started 12 games at right tackle last season, now playing left. So we're going to give the give to Rhodes, and Rhodes will rumble forward, pick up about 5. First one in there was David Portu.
That Charleston Southern defense is coming downhill fast, though. I really like the aggression that they're playing with.
One name we'll probably say a lot today, outside linebacker Mylan Bowen, the sophomore from Orlando. Gabe Gardini called him the Dennis Rodman of the team, but specifically the Pistons version of Dennis Rodman. He's kind of one of those crazy guys you love to have on your defense.
I'm too young to know what he meant by the Pistons version of Dennis Rodman, but I appreciate the analogy.
2nd and 5. Again, Rhodes bouncing off players. And it'll come up just short, but another strong run there for the redshirt junior. Again, Rhodes got the bulk of the carries the last 2 weeks as Steve Hall, the reigning offensive rookie of the year, has been nursing an ankle injury. He's also a threat out of the backfield to catch some passes. Had 6 receptions for 37 yards last week against App State. Officially 3rd and 2. Rhodes gets it, and he's not going to get there. Stopped well short, and a big stop there for the Buccaneer defense.
It's a great job. It's a great job by Charleston Southern. They're absolutely firing off the ball and kind of exposing, like you said, this young offensive line.
Looks like Malik McKenzie, the outside linebacker, was one of the first ones in there. Gabe Gardini, he loves his nicknames, and his nickname for McKenzie, the Terminator. He looks just like Justin Waters. I wonder if he's like a T-900 or what version he is of Terminator. Don't tell me you're too young for that reference, too.
I do know that one.
Okay,
I do know that one.
These broadcasts are going to turn into a pop culture lesson for you, my friend. Whistles blow as Vinatieri was getting ready to punt it away. So Lindenwood ends up calling a timeout just before that. Maybe Stugart wants to talk things over and think I don't know, Ford. You're at your 35-yard line. Do you risk it this early in a ball game?
I don't like it. The way Charleston Southern's defense is shooting those gaps against that young offensive line, they're really confident that they're going to be able to hold them to nothing or even a loss. So if Lindenwood had been gashing Charleston Southern, maybe, but the way that Charleston Southern's interior defensive line is playing, I wouldn't do it.
And it looks like Stuger took your advice. Vinatieri and the punting unit back out there on the field. So 2 series, it's going to be 2 punts for the Lions. Chris Roan back deep again for the Buccaneers. Buck showing a pressure look. Nearly blocked. Takes a Lions bounce. And we'll touch out about the 28-yard line. We will step away for a quick moment. The Buccaneer offense back on the field when we return. Back here at Buccaneer Field, Charleston Southern's offense back on the field, leading 7-0 after a very crisp, clean opening drive that led to 6 points.
It was a great drive led by Zoltan. Expect them to keep the ball in the air. That's where they had their success last drive. And again, expect them to take some shots. I think they're going to be playing with a lot of confidence now.
Buccaneers with 3 wide receivers split to the left. Chris Roan in motion. Mush gets the carry. He's able to slide between a couple defenders, but eventually brought down. Short gain there as Tajay Passmore brings him down. Big 6'3", 255-pound redshirt senior from New York. He is a force to be reckoned with. Bucks going hurry up now on 2nd and 8. Osborne, quick pass out to Roan. That's good for a first down.
Zoltan looks really calm. He looks really comfortable right now.
Chris Roan, the leading receiver from a season ago, the Coastal Carolina transfer. Preseason all-second team in the OVC Big South Association. Last year, holding 21 receptions for a couple hundred yards. And he's back for more, especially when you have a quarterback like Osborne. Bishop in motion to the left. Osborne runs the bootleg, tosses it to a wide-open Roan. He's got a first down and more, brought down just over midfield.
It's a great call there again by the offensive coordinator. He sees that they're playing that 4-high shell again, and he knows the flats are exposed. It's a great job getting that receiver out in the flats. Zoltan able to make an awkward throw, but get it right on his face mask so he can turn up field for some yards after catch.
Waller again on the tackle. Bucks back to the hurry up. Give to Baldwin. No, a quick pass out there connects with Bishop, and he'll pick up 5. This Buccaneer offense is clicking, and you mentioned it, Ford. Osborne looks comfortable, and Seth Strickland starting to dial things up a bit.
Seth is doing a great job calling really easy and confidence-building plays for Zoltan in this offense, really attacking those weak spots in the defense.
Just under 2 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. 2nd and 5 for the Buccaneers. Baldwin up the middle. And he'll be brought up just about a yard short of the first down marker. So we've always talked about it with Charleston Southern. They always have a potent rushing attack. This year they have 4 backs that they like to use, though Tyson Greenweed's a little banged up today. So Mush and Baldwin will be the 2 primary backs. Also Isaiah Gordon, the redshirt junior. We may see his name called a little bit later. So 3rd and short. Baldwin up the gut. First down and more. Across the 20. 10, 5. Touchdown Buccaneers. Kamarian Baldwin found the seam. Left the Lions in a cloud of dust.
And that's what we talked about pregame, man. That run defense for Lindenwood has not been great so far this year. Seth Strickland is absolutely queuing up these inside zones and gashed them there for about 30, 35 yards on that last one. But a great, great run, great vision there from the back to be able to slice him for a big score.
2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for the Buccaneers as Lang tacks on the extra point. And Charleston Southern jumps out to a 14-0 lead here with just over a minute to go in quarter number 1.
Really liking what Seth Strickland is doing right now. He is putting his team in a great spot to be able to succeed and just take what Lindenwood is giving them. Lindenwood's giving them the –
check this out. Zoltan Osborne through 2 drives, 7 of 7 for 91 yards, a 209.2 QBR. Does not get much better than that.
I didn't know that was possible. I thought the most you could get is about 158. But Zoltan breaking records already in the first quarter for Charleston Southern.
And again, Baldwin with that burst of speed officially goes down as a 39-yard touchdown run. And this Buccaneer offense has to be feeling themselves here in front of the home crowd here at the Shipyard.
Absolutely, man. Playing with a lot of confidence. I think them having a really close game with Coastal Carolina last week gave them a little bit of confidence heading home today to be able to put on a really good show to start this game.
So Jed Stugart and the Lions really need to come away with something here on this drive, because so far looks like there's no stopping this Buccaneer offense. Lang sends it away, and the Lions will watch it bounce out of the end zone for a touchback. Last time out, Lions went 3 and out. Most of the action there went to Rhodes, the running back. Glantz definitely feeling that pressure. The Buccaneer front, led by Portu, Hurts, and Landrum, certainly getting after him so far. Lindenwood with just 1 first down so far. -2 rushing yards in total.
And that's what we're talking about. The passing game has been okay, but nothing on the ground for Lindenwood.
4 wide receivers split out. Quick, easy dump off to the tight end, Darren Fugit. He'll pick up 6.
And Lindenwood has a really large wide receiver room and a really big tight end. So I would expect them to try to use some mismatch problems for Charleston Southern to try to throw some deep balls, some jump ball, 50-50 balls.
4 receivers split out again. This time the ball carrier is immediately gobbled up. Steve Zayakowski was in there along with Portu. And the Lions just unable to establish the run here through the first quarter.
Maybe the best last name from both rosters. Zayakowski. Sounds like Mike Wazowski from Monsters, Inc. I love it, though. That guy comes downhill.
So you do get pulp cultural references.
Just a couple. Just a couple of my 25 years.
19 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Lions facing 3rd and long from their own 30. Buccaneers showing the blitz. Glance, quick out, and it's caught. Or is it? Referee says incomplete. Great defense there by the Bucs. In and out of the hands of Fugit.
It was a great play there by Glantz. He recognized that it was too high man coverage throughout the defense and got it out of his hands quick on a slant. It was a great ball, but just got to come up with it. But, again, that pass defense for Charleston Southern continues to show up. That confidence from last week has really been building this whole time.
Fugit can't believe it. Looked at the referee in dismay. He thinks he got it, but on comes the Lions punt team. Back-to-back drives that end in a 3 and out. This play will likely be the end, or the last one rather, of the first quarter as Vinatieri sends it away. Roan fields it from his 25, finds some space across the 40, and he'll be brought down right at midfield. Great starting field position for the Buccaneers. And that brings us to the end of the first quarter. Your score, Charleston Southern 14, Lindenwood 0. You're watching OVC Big South Football on ESPN+. Buccaneers 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, and it's been smooth sailing for the Navy and Gold.
Zoltan has got his groove back. That is absolutely true.
They'll start this drive just short of midfield after a great return by Chris Roan. The ball carrier is going to be the freshman. He's going to break away. 20, 10, 5, touchdown Buccaneers. Hakeem Waters. Gabe Gardenia warned us he was going to get some carries. His first touch goes for 6.
And there's a reason why Coach Gardenia was so excited about him. He's 1 for 1, and he's in the end zone on 1 carry.
And look at him get mobbed by his coaches and teammates on the sideline. That'll be a moment he remembers for the rest of his life.
There's no doubt about it.
So it is all Buccaneers here through a quarter in change. Gordon's extra point is good, and it's 21-0 in favor of the home team. We just touched on it, Ford. We were talking to Gabe Gardenia about the depth of this running back room, and he said, keep an eye out on Hakeem Waters. That freshman is going to get some carries today. I don't think we saw it happening this early in the contest, and then the first time you give him the ball, he scores. So my mindset is thinking, you know what, maybe give him another shot. You never know what's
Probably.
gonna happen.
I think he's going to get a few more carries today. There's no doubt about it.
Safe to say he earned that, right?
Oh, absolutely. He said throughout fall camp, Hakeem Waters has been playing great football, but he was just buried deep on that depth chart because of how many great running backs they have. And he didn't mention that there was one running back that stood out above anybody else. There's just 5 or 6 guys that can play. And so due to injury, Hakeem got a shot today, and he's certainly going to get more as the day goes on.
You mentioned injuries. That's one thing Gardenia highlighted in our interview with him this week. He said this room got banged up a lot during fall camp. That's why guys like Brandon Mush are getting so many opportunities here in the early going. Nice to know you've got some depth at it, too, with guys like Waters now breaking away. And again, we mentioned Baldwin has a touchdown. Waters has a touchdown. So now we just have to get Mush and Gordon in there to complete the quadfecta, I guess. Lang with the high kick. It's going to be fair, caught at the 25. And now the Lions will come back out onto the field. And for, dare I say, they need something on this drive.
That would be an understatement. They absolutely need points now because Charleston Southern is 3 for 3 on scoring drives. So Lindenwood needs to keep up.
And if you're Dusty Havoka, now in his 9th season as the OC at Lindenwood, what are you telling your guys down 21-0 here?
Unfortunately, just do your job. Don't try and do anything too big. But this offensive line has got to protect Lance, and they've got to open up running lanes for these backs.
Lions try and run a speed out to Fugit. He's going to lose, too.
They're not feeling confident about their inside zone ability. So they're trying to push the ball outside and beat him with speed. But Charleston Southern, again, just they're high flying to the ball. They're playing with so much confidence right now. They're seeing everything in slow motion.
Buccaneers play a traditional 3-4 style defense with 3 down linemen. Right now it looks like they've got Wyatt on the right end and Atkins on the left. Glance under duress again. Nowhere to go. And there's Bowen trying to bring him down. Does the ball come out? No. But a great tackle there by the Bucs.
It's a great job there by Glance escaping that pressure, but that was borderline a coverage sack by the defense. They were playing this Tampa 2 coverage where it looks like a linebacker drops back to play the middle third of the field, where it looks like a 3 safety setup that's taking away any kind of deep shot away from Glance.
And what does that say about the Charleston Southern front that you have 3 guys rushing the passer and they're able to collapse that pocket so quickly?
It means they're a talented bunch playing against a bunch of younger guys on that O-line.
Blitz coming off the edge. Stugart, ball's up in the air, and it falls just short. Right in front of Jalen Smith. A couple of Bucks there in the secondary. Thought they were able to come down with the interception. Nothing doing. So 3 3-and-outs in a row for the Lions as Nick Sawyer, the redshirt junior, is going to get credited with the pass breakup. And Vinatieri on for his 4th punt of the day, and we're only early here in the second quarter.
He might get to 10 punts the way this pass defense is playing. We mentioned it before the game started. A lot of confidence from this defensive secondary.
Vinatieri boots a long one. Roan's going to field it at the 25. Gets a seam up the sideline. Picks up about 10. Finally brought down just short of the 35. We'll step away for a quick moment. Buccaneer offense back on the field when we return. You're watching OVC Big South Football on ESPN+. You and I were chatting, and I said we were waiting for Brandon Mush to score. He actually has. So 3 running backs have scored for the Buccaneers. Now we're just seeing if Isaiah Gordon can complete the perfect line here for the Bucs as Waters, the freshman, gets the carry and picks up a short gain. How about that? Your first carry goes for 52 yards and a touchdown. And Gabe Gardenia is going to continue to feed the beast here on offense.
Absolutely. Can't get much better than that. I'd expect, as this game probably gets away from Lindenwood, I would expect them to continue to feed that young freshman, get him some experience moving forward.
Buccaneers already eclipsing 100 total yards on the ground so far today. They face a 2nd and 5. Osborne under center. We don't see that too often. Give to Waters. Waters up the hole again, plowing forward, and he'll be stopped just short of the chains.
And I'm not sure exactly why Lindenwood is playing in a too high defense right now, because that takes a man out of the box that they could use for run support. It's not like Charleston Southern is in a position where they want to put the ball in the air. They're gashing them on the ground. You want as many men in the box as possible.
So once again, the Bucs facing a 3rd and short right around midfield. Osborne in the shotgun. Going to give it to Baldwin. Baldwin rumbling, stumbling, will not be denied. Picks up the first down. That's now 7 first downs for Charleston Southern. And they are just continuing to cruise on offense.
This offensive line is pushing around the interior of Lindenwood. And it's a great effort there by Kamarian Baldwin to just muscle his way through to get that first down.
Buccaneers currently averaging 10 yards a carry. 11:28 to go in the second quarter. Bucs lead it 21-0. Now we're marching down the field once again as Osborne makes a change at the line. Play clock winding down, and the Buccaneers are going to call timeout. That's their second timeout of the half. And we are going to take it with them. Bucs are marching midway through the second quarter. You're watching OVC Big South Football on ESPN+.
Favorite sub, hot or cold in a bowl. It's a Jersey Mike's thing, a sub above.
Lindenwood trailing 21-0 early here in the second quarter. But next week, they finally get to return home for their home opener against Stony Brook before visiting Miami of Ohio and then back against UT Martin and Tennessee Tech. Takes them through mid-October. As the Buccaneers face 1st and 10. Osborne floats it up in and out of the hands of Chris Roan. Looks like it might have gotten a tip there.
And again, I'm not sure why this Lindenwood defense is playing so far off. They're playing cover 4, which means that deep part of the field is being split into 4. And if Roan catches that, he had a blocker coming out to take that corner. He's going to have a lot of space.
Gerard Mosley got a fingertip on it. Redshirt junior from Riviera Beach, Florida. On 2nd down, Osborne gives to Baldwin. Baldwin not going anywhere. He's gobbled up immediately by Waller. Loses one. So the Buccaneers facing 3rd down and long. Haven't seen too many of those. The last time, Osborne connected with Makai Campfield for a big first down that set up the opening touchdown by Brandon Mush.
I think Zoltan feels very much at home right now on this play. He knows he's already had a few 3rd and longs that he's converted.
4 receivers split out. Osborne, plenty of time, finds Roan, cuts it back up the middle, bouncing off a defender like a pinball, and he has the first down. Chris Roan would not be denied, and he's brought down after a big gain of 13.
And again, Lindenwood's continuing to play really far off. They're giving him that short stuff, and Zoltan's just going to continue to take it.
Hurry up offense again. Osborne on the keeper. Lunges forward, picks up about 4. So sprinkling a little zone read from Seth Strickland. So he's really in his bag right now.
He's doing a great job. He's doing a great job. It's like him and Zoltan are sharing the same mind.
Buccaneers so far with 13 rush attempts to 8 passes. 2nd and 7. The give. Baldwin shaking off defenders, picks up maybe 1. So the Buccaneers we've seen, a little tough at running between the tackles, but when they're able to stretch it outside, as we've seen with those touchdowns from Waters and from Baldwin, it leads to 6.
Absolutely. Those guys are speed demons. They're comfortable on the edge.
Nine minutes to go here until the break. Buccaneers would love to add another touchdown here. Facing 3rd down and 6. Baldwin the back. He'll get the carry. Does bounce it outside. Still going. Has the 1st down. He'll be marked down at the 28-yard line, so Buccaneers continue their success on 3rd down.
It's a great call there by Seth Strickland. Lindenwood lines up, again, that 4 deep shell like they're expecting to pass, which, again, on 3rd and medium you're expecting. But he knew there was not enough men in the box to guard that inside zone, and they gashed him again.
Buccaneers a perfect 6 for 6 on 3rd down today. Osborne with nothing but time. Gets it out to Waters, and he just juggled it and dropped it. That freshman he saw the sideline, and he saw 6, but couldn't secure the catch quite yet.
Well, maybe he needs some gloves. Sometimes running backs don't have the best hands. So they usually like to put some gloves on those running backs.
I know you were a quarterback, but how are your hands?
Well, I actually played receiver my last year at Charlotte, so I would hope they were pretty good.
And?
I believe they are. I believe they are.
2nd and 10 from the 28. Osborne this time gives to Waters. Waters going to bounce it out again. Still going across the 20, but it may be coming back. Flag down right at the line of scrimmage. We hear from the referee. That's going to go against the backup tight end, Nebane Moore, the transfer from NC Central. I don't know about you, but I was getting deja vu. That run looked exactly like the one that Waters scored on about 10 minutes ago.
It did. I started twisting my back like he was about to scurry up that left sideline again.
So the penalty put the ball at the 38-yard line. Something to keep an eye on if you're Charleston Southern. Last year, kicking was a big problem for them, but when talking to Gabe Gardenia this week, he said he's confident that Zach Gordon could hit from 50-plus if the opportunity presented itself. He's 1 for 1 this season, good from 38. We're not there yet. Tunnel screen for Campfield doesn't get much, maybe 2.
Being a former quarterback, I always.
When we have an injured Buccaneer on the field, looks like Landon Sowers got roughed up there blocking downfield.
That's tough to see.
Sowers, the senior from Anderson, South Carolina. 18 career receptions as he's checked out by the training staff. And we will step aside for a quick moment. Healthcare sports medicine tent. So we'll see the backup tight end, Nebane Moore, again, the transfer from NC Central, coming in there. As the Buccaneers face a 3rd and long from the 36. 7:33 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Bucs lead at 21-0. Osborne gives it to Baldwin. Baldwin trying to bounce outside, and he is not going to go anywhere. Waller once again was in there to bring him down.
That's the first call I don't like from Seth Strickland there. They didn't have but 4, maybe 5 guys in the box, and they try to run it outside. If you gash them up inside, even for 5 more yards, that puts you back in field goal range like Coach Gardenia was talking about, being so confident.
Well, if you're not going to kick a field goal, you might as well have your All-American punter, Gilbert Brown, out there. Booted an 82-yard punt last week against Coastal Carolina. You heard that right, 82 yards. This one won't go quite as far as it takes a bounce and goes into the end zone. Little extracurricular activities there as the Lions offense comes back out onto the field, looking to put something on the board here before they go into the halftime locker room.
Really need something here from this Lindenwood offense. But Charleston's really stout passing D has been the talk of this micro battle between the Lindenwood offense and this Charleston Southern defense. Really able to stifle Nate Glantz. And we thought Glantz was going to come out and potentially have a big day. He's only got 32 yards right now.
You said it, 3 of 6 for 32 yards. Glantz going to roll to his right, trying to look downfield, nothing doing. Takes a shot but completes the pass. Ball's on the ground. And it's recovered by the Lions, Drew Crobath.
That was a fantastic throw there. Fantastic throw there from Glantz. As he got absolutely drilled, did a somersault backwards back onto his feet.
So Crobath, the second reception today, came in with 8. That was a team high. First down for the Lions. Glantz going to roll the other way this time. Looking, throws back across his body, and that ball is going to be caught by Jalen Smith. Another first down for the Lions.
Coach Gardenia said this guy plays like.
And the official on the far side came in and said it was incomplete.
They've had a few of those today where Glantz has put it on them, and they just have not been able to come up with it. It's a great ball there, contorting his body back across the throw to the middle of the field. Looked almost like Mahomes there.
So we're going to get an official review here. Again, Jalen Smith hauled that ball down right around the 43, 44-yard line. It looked good from our vantage point, but it was the official on the Charleston Southern side, right around the 50, who came in and said it was incomplete. We'll see if our video team can get another look up here of that reception again. Jalen Smith.
These receivers have got to help Glantz out, though, man. He's making some plays. He's adjusting his arm angles to try to fit it into these windows and fit it around these Charleston Southern defenders, but they got to start coming up with these catches.
Are you surprised they haven't gone to Rico Bond at all, the redshirt freshman and reigning, OVC Big South Freshman of the Week after 7 receptions and 102 yards and a touchdown against App last week?
I am. Charleston Southern's defense probably saw that and prepped for it all week, so they're doing a good job of keeping him isolated out of the picture so Glantz can't get to him. But they get the ball in his hands on some of those quick pop passes that we receive from Charleston Southern. That'd be a great way to start getting him involved, almost like Kansas City used to do with Tyreek Hill.
So the referees are keeping the ball at the 32-yard line, so it is, in fact, an incomplete pass. So 5:50 to go here before the break. Lions trying to get on the board. Now 2nd and 10 from their own 32. Rhodes split out to the left. They're going to run a tunnel screen to the tight end. Fugit, he gets popped. Couple of Buccaneers lowering their shoulders. I believe that was Kenai Cook, the strong safety who was in there first. Sets up a 3rd and long for the Lions.
Really impressed with the mentality this Charleston Southern defense is playing with. They are coming downhill, and they are hitting hard every single play.
Glantz looking towards the sideline. Again, Lions 1 of 5 on third down today. Buck showing the blitz. Glance. Throws it out. Finds Bond. That's his first catch of the day. And it's a big one. Good for a first down right around midfield.
Glance saw the blitz that time, knew they were playing man across the board, and got it out of his hands quick. It's a great job by him. Really showing his veteran leadership here on this drive. Finally starting to get in the rhythm.
Back-to-back first downs for the Lions. Best offense we've seen from them today. Glance rolling to the left. Wants his running back. Rhodes gets it in and does a little toe tap. And a late hit by Justin Waters. You're going to tack on 15 more.
And it's funny. The quarterback set that play up right there. He double clutched that throw. And because he threw it to him later, that Charleston Southern defender really didn't have a chance but to push him out of bounds as he approached the sideline. And that's what the flag's for. So really that was all props to Glance.
And here's the call.
That really should go down as a 15-yard completion for Glance. Okay, that was all because of him.
So, tough break for Nick Revis in the Buccaneer defense as the Lions right on the brink of field goal range here. Again, trying to come away with some points with 4.5 minutes to go before halftime. Glance, plenty of time. Air ball for the end zone for Bond, and it's just over his head. Bond listed at 6'1", just out of his grasp.
Glance is a gunslinger, man. He's not afraid to put this ball into tight windows. He's not playing with any less confidence, even being down 21-0. He's going to keep on slinging it.
There was some zip on that ball, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just a little bit high, but it's a confident football.
2nd and 10. Handoff goes to Rhodes, and he is met immediately by a Buccaneer wall of blue. Nowhere to go. Josiah Wyatt, the first one in there. That's the App State transfer.
And that's really where the difference has been all day long is the trenches on both sides of the ball. Charleston Southern's trenches have just outmatched Lindenwood's all day long.
So the Lions face with another 3rd and long. They've been able to connect twice already in need of another big 3rd down here. Glance, quick screen, completes it. That's a first down for the Lions.
That's a great read there by Glance. They originally started too high safety look. He saw that the safety rotated down to the right side and came back and snapped a quick throw off on a slant there for a nice first down.
And it's redemption for Jalen Smith with a dropped completion earlier in the drive. As the Lions make their first appearance in the red zone today. The give to Rhodes. Rhodes turns the corner. Still going. And he's brought down at the 5. Nick Bartolo in on the stop. So a touchdown here for the Lions could really change the dynamic as we go into the intermission. And the Buccaneers are going to call their second timeout.
Need 7 here for if you're Lindenwood. Got to have it.
Excuse me, this is the final timeout for Charleston Southern. It'll be a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay here. So again, Ford, if Lindenwood's able to end this drive on a touchdown, it's got to be a huge morale booster with about 2 minutes to go here. What can that do for a team to have a little bit of momentum, even if they're trailing going into the second half?
Huge. It'd be absolutely huge. To see yourself get on the board is massive. It's like seeing that first 3 ball finally go in when you're playing basketball. It's just huge for your mental confidence. And if they score quick enough here, they could get a quick stop on Charleston Southern, get the ball back. You still got 2 timeouts left. That's why I love holding on to the timeouts for the end of the half or the end of the game. Get another quick score, maybe even a field goal or a touchdown before the half.
That's what they say. It's never over until the clock hits 0. Still plenty of time left if you're a Lindenwood fan joining us today. First and goal. The give to Glance. Keeps it himself on the keeper. Rumbling, stumbling, and he's in. Nate Glantz on the QB keeper puts Lindenwood on the board.
And he's not just a pocket passer. He looked like Lamar Jackson there, sliding around, spinning around, getting in the end zone.
Gabe Gardenia said these backs and quarterbacks kind of glide off the offensive linemen. And that was a showcase right there. Glantz waltzes in from 8 yards out. And now the Lions, after the extra point, will trail by 2 scores. Still not over yet. 2:43 to go here in the first half. But the Lions of Lindenwood, who have traveled more than 4,000 miles these first 3 weeks of the season, are finally on the board.
It's a lot of travel for a team. That's tough to do when you're not able to get it home and you're always traveling away from your campus. You're not able to get as much downtime, as much practice time, as much sleep that you would originally have if you're playing at home. So this has been a tough stretch of games for these guys.
Here's what's coming up for Charleston Southern. Next week they're at William and Mary. That'll be a 4 o'clock kick before they're back here on September 27th to host SC State, our neighbors north in Orangeburg. Then we're really getting to the crux of OVC Big South play with a trip to Gardner-Webb and the Barbecue Bowl before back here to host Tennessee Tech on October 11th. Those latter 3 games all available here on ESPN+. As Will Graham set to kick it away for the Lions.
Lions starting to dance a little bit on the sideline. They feel that momentum that they just built on that last drive.
Back deep, Bishop and Baldwin. And they watch that sail into the end zone. So after stalling right around midfield, the Buccaneer offense back out on the field. Seth Strickland with plenty of time, but no timeouts to get a 2-minute offense going.
You wouldn't think that it is. This is a monumental drive for Charleston Southern because you cannot go 3 and out, give Lindenwood the ball back. Can't let Nate Glantz run a 2-minute offense because I'm putting my money that he's going to go down and score a touchdown. It's a lot easier for a quarterback to play in a rhythm when they're playing in that quick 2-minute offense.
We'll see what Zoltan Osborne can do after a phenomenal first half as a flag comes in. Didn't hear who that was on, but it'll be a false start penalty and not the way you want to start a drive after a Lindenwood touchdown. Puts the Buccaneers at 1st and 15.
In this scenario, you kind of have to keep the ball on the ground to run this clock out so you don't give Glantz a lot of time. On the other hand, you got to pick up that first down that's 15 yards away, and will you do it on the ground is the only question.
They give to Baldwin. Baldwin finds a crease, gets back the yardage the Bucs had lost.
The one silver lining there is that the Bucs have been gashing Lindenwood so far, so keeping it on the ground today for Charleston Southern is borderline like putting it in the air because of how much they're averaging per carry.
Buccaneers with almost 130 yards on the ground here in the first half. Lindenwood with just 18, but the Lions really stretching the ball downfield that last series as they're going to let this tick to the 2-minute intermission. Buccaneers are going to try and add some points on the board before going into the locker room. You're watching OVC Big South football on ESPN+. Timeout after 6-7 seconds elapses. So they're going to add 3 more seconds back to the clock. So 1:56 to go here before the break. So Ford, Buccaneers facing 3rd and long. Do you go for the first down or do you just run the ball, try and bleed some clock and force the Lions to maybe call timeout and have nowhere to go here and drive the length of the field to get some more points on the board?
Yeah, as a former quarterback, you always want to put the ball in the air. You always want to have the confidence in yourself to be able to pick up the first down on 3rd and long. The smart move here, though, is to you inside zone this thing. You forced Lindenwood to burn that last time out. That takes another 40 seconds off the clock. And you only give Nate Glantz, it's still a fair amount of time. You only give him about a minute 10 to go down and try and get a score before the half.
We'll see what the Bucks do. Full receiver set as Moore comes in behind. Handoff to Baldwin, and he is met immediately. Jacob Waller, we've called his name a bunch today as Stugart's going to call his final timeout with 1:52 to go. So Bucks will punt it away, forcing the Lions to drive the length of the field with no timeouts in about, we'll say, 90 seconds and change.
You can see the look on the Lindenwood players' faces and coaches' faces right now. They've got some juice. They've got some momentum. Confidence is building. The last thing I want to see if I'm a Charleston Southern fan is Nate Glantz with 4 or 5 wide with about a minute and 20 left before the half. I think he's going to go down and make some plays here before the half ends, and you don't want to see that if you're a Charleston Southern fan.
Still plenty of time left in this one. You and I were talking before in the pregame. We didn't think this would be an offensive showcase. We thought it'd be a lot more of a defensive showcase. But we've been wrong so far. 28 combined points and still a whole half to go. As Gilbert Brown's in to punt.
Love me some offense.
We mentioned Brown had the 82-yard boot. This one skies it. And it is going to bounce for the Buccaneers. And it'll be downed right at the 32-yard line.
Oh, Gilbert got a lucky bounce there. He might have gotten chewed out if that thing would have rolled the other way on the other side of the 50 for Charleston Southern. But gets a nice little punt. But not that long of a field for Nate Glantz.
Yeah, just under 70 yards. And he'll have 98 seconds to try and get something for the Lions.
Expect Charleston Southern to play in that 4 deep shell. Expect Nate to get that ball out quick to his receivers underneath and let them get some yards after catch.
Yeah, and they're probably not going to go in the middle of the field and let that clock eat away. You mentioned off the top that the Lions have had some kicking problems, so could be a touchdown or bust situation. Glantz steps up in the pocket, finds his man. That's Fugit, the tight end, picks up 6.
And they do go over the middle there, but again, that clock continues to burn.
1:24 to go. Glantz looks left, rolls up, and he's brought down from behind. Malik McKenzie from the blind side brings him down. Penalty flag on the field. Holding on the Lions offense, but it doesn't matter. Buccaneers will take the sack, brings up 3rd and 14.
This defensive line is doing such a great job harassing this young O-line for Lindenwood.
Clock ticking, 1:08 left to go in the half. Lions, 3 receivers split to the right and the back. Glantz over the head looking for Smith. He wanted a flag, and he's not going to get it. And Glantz is furious, waving his towel at the referee. Blanket coverage there by the Bucks.
I understand Glantz is frustrated, but it was just a high ball. If he puts it a little bit lower, I know I'm asking for perfection there, but that's probably a catch and close to a first down where you might think about going for it.
So a little deflation if you're a Lions fan after how your offense has looked on the last drive. But the Buccaneers will have a minute and no timeouts. We'll see what they decide to do. Vinatieri going to kick a line drive punt right into Roan's hands. He'll field it. Tries to bounce it outside. Not going to get anywhere. Ball's officially marked at the 35-yard line. 48 seconds to go. What's the call here?
Yeah, I expect them to keep it on the ground because, again, the ground today for Charleston Southern has you're borderline throwing the ball in terms of how successful they've been. So worst case scenario, you run the clock out and you take it into half. Best case scenario, Hakeem Waters or whoever's in there rips off a 60-something yard touchdown run here.
Bucks would probably need about 30, 35 yards for a comfortable field goal. Osborne delayed handoff. That's for Baldwin. Picks up maybe a yard. We'll actually say he lost one. So it looks like Gabe Gardenia is going to be content just letting this clock run out. Yeah. Get this team to the locker room up 21-7.
They'll have to have one more play here, but I can't expect it to be anything less than an inside zone, anything more than it.
Looks like a 2-second difference between the play clock and the game clock. So one more play coming. Bishop in motion. And the Buccaneers go ahead and let that clock expire. They will go into the locker room up 21-7 over Lindenwood. Don't go anywhere. The Jersey Mike's halftime report on the other side of this break. You are watching OVC Big South Association football. I mentioned 2 years ago, it was one of the first starts for Zoltan Osborne before he blew out his knee. That was a 24-10 Charleston Southern win. Last year, though, the Lions got revenge. And they've both averaged about 20 points in their meetings, and so far we're kind of on pace for the same. So you and I had said we thought it was going to be a defensive struggle, but once again, the stats don't lie. Numbers don't lie, and these two teams, when they play each other. So again, here was that one last year, 29-14 in favor of Lindenwood, played at St. Charles, Missouri. Glantz had 152 passing yards and an interception. Steve Zayakowski had 8 tackles, as did Justin Waters. So some familiar names to this OVC rivalry game.
This must feel like deja vu for Zoltan Osborne. 2 years ago against the same team, and he's having a great first half.
Probably playing with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, knowing that last time he played, the last time he faced this team was when that tragic day happened up in St. Charles. So, he's balling out so far today. We'll see if he can keep the momentum going as the Buccaneers set to receive the kickoff here to start the second half. We mentioned it, Buccaneers with over 200 yards of offense in that first half, led by their running, 130 yards on the ground. A couple of touchdowns from Brandon Mush, Kamarian Baldwin.
Seth Strickland has called a great first half. I'd say expect him to continue to keep it on the ground and then try to open up something deep down the field for Zoltan Osborne to finally get in the end zone.
And we are underway from Buccaneer Field. And that ball will sail into the back of the end zone for a touchback. Zoltan Osborne, we mentioned it, had about as good of a first half as you could imagine. 9 of 11 for 107 yards. A couple of nice shots down the sideline to Chris Rowan and Makai Campfield on third down. 163.8 passer rating. Only 11 attempts, not bad, especially when you've had 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yep, haven't even needed to put the ball in the air that much with 3 workhorses like they have today.
So the Bucs start from the 25-yard line. First and 10, Baldwin gets the carry, cuts it back upfield, doesn't get much, maybe a yard. We've seen Seth Strickland and Gabe Gardenia really try and establish that inside running presence. Hasn't worked too far. We've seen much more success trying to bounce it outside and letting these running backs just showcase their speed.
Absolutely.
This one's second and long. Osborne have Baldwin split out to his right. 3 receivers. Osborne with a clean pocket. Takes a shot downfield. That's caught. Jamil Bishop hauls it in right over the shoulder. First down and a chunk of change for the Bucs.
Zoltan did a great job identifying the defense. It went from a 2-high shell to a 1-high man across the board. He knew his slot had a corner route, and he just beat him like a drum with a perfect ball over his shoulder.
Big game for the Bucs, now threatening in Lindenwood territory. Baldwin gets the carry, doesn't get much. Once again, Jacob Waller. We'll have to see how many tackles he has today. We said his name a bunch.
Seth Strickland is just doing a great job calling this game. He's continuing to push the ball inside for the Charleston Southern rushing attack, trying to have that Lindenwood defense suck up on it, and then giving Zoltan an opportunity to cook something up downfield.
Second and long for the Bucs. Osborne, quick out, finds his man. That's Bishop again. We said off the top, Bishop has some sneaky, deceptive speed, rather, and he's not afraid to burn a defender, as we've seen here on this drive.
Well, he looks like he's probably smaller than Tyreek Hill, but he's playing just like him. He's really having himself a day. And Zoltan's feet, he's so calm in the pocket, man. You can tell that confidence is exuding out of him all the way throughout his team right now.
Lions yet to record a sack so far today. Osborne.
Expect a shot here. Zoltan's going to take a shot.
So 3rd down and short. Osborne dumps it over the middle. There's Bishop. Open field. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Jamil Bishop. But there's a flag. And this could be coming back. So a crushing blow there for the Bucs as Moore is called for the pass interference. And for, I'm assuming it was on that rub route when they were crossing. You can't do that anymore.
Seth Strickland is, again, calling himself a great game. He saw that they were in man across the board, and that's such a great concept, that little mesh concept where you're trying to get a rub. It's just you can't run into the guy like that, like making a block. You got to kind of squeeze him and scoot him with your shoulder, and they just got caught.
Takes a touchdown off the board for Bishop. And now the Bucs facing 3rd and long from midfield. Three receivers split to the right. Osborne with plenty of time. Airing it out downfield. Once Chris Rowe, what a grab. No, incomplete. Second attempt, nearly caught it. But a great defensive stand. That sun was right there in his eyes, too. It was so close for a big-time grab.
I'm not going to blame that on Chris Roan there, but that was a heck of a ball by Zoltan Osborne. Again, you see his confidence in his play right now. 3rd and long, he takes a shot to the wide side of the field on a go ball, trying to give his big target, Chris Roan, a shot to make a catch for that 50-50 and put it in the best spot you possibly could. It's just sometimes that sun will get right in your eyes and play as another defender.
An official timeout here. So they're going to review the last play. I'm wondering if they're going to see if he had control when the foot came down. Would it be a fumble, though, and then a recovery by Lindenwood? Is that what they're looking for?
No. So it doesn't even matter if it's a catch or not. The way that the defender came in to strike Chris Roan, if his crown of his helmet's down, it doesn't matter if he caught it or not, which he didn't catch it. It was incomplete, but if his crown of his helmet is down, that's targeting. He's ejected, and Charleston Southern gets the ball 15 yards from the spot of the foul, I believe.
And that was right there around, I want to say, the 30 or the 25-yard line. So we'll see what the officials come up with. So a potential targeting call.
It did look like a pretty nasty hit now that I think about it. But it's always a judgment call for these refs to see what's really targeted and what's not. We've got to try to really clarify a good definition for what targeting really is, because it's spotty, and that can really ruin a game.
And again, it was a pretty bang-bang play. We saw it up here. The sun was kind of in the eyes of the defender, but, you know, the Buccaneers had a touchdown wiped off the board for a pass interference call. If this goes against Lindenwood, now the flag was not thrown, so you have to account for that.
That's fair. A call on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Call on the field.
So the referees are still discussing as Jed Stugert's talking with an official. He doesn't look too pleased.
Well, while we got some time, I know Coach Gardena told us a quick story about Zoltan Osborne earlier this week. Getting out on the field. He was doing his grounding barefoot on the practice field, trying to get in touch.
So no targeting. Save that story. We'll get to it here in a little bit, Ford. But so no, it is an incomplete pass, no targeting, and the Buccaneers have a promising drive stall that will now be forcing them to punt it away. Gilbert Brown, normally Mr. Reliable, had a punt that didn't go too far right towards the end of the half, but a great sack there by Malik McKenzie. Didn't matter. Now this is a great punt into the eyes of the defender. It's going to take a Buccaneer bounce. Ooh. And they are going to down it at the 5-yard line. Gilbert Brown, like we said, Mr. Reliable. And the Lions are going to have to be forced to start this drive pretty much in the shadow of their own end zone.
You never want to start behind midfield like that, especially behind the 20 like that.
And we're going to take a quick media timeout. Lions offense is back on the other side of this. Stay tuned.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed.
Thank you very much, honey.
Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy.
Difference between being big, strong, between trying something new and doing something great, finding answers and creating the future. At First Citizens, we understand that difference. We're resilient, relentless, and working together, there's nothing we can't achieve. For everyone who counts on us, there's always a difference. And that difference is who we are. First Citizens Bank.
I decided to come to Charleston Southern University because it is the only collegiate aviation program here in South Carolina. Believing in God and everything has helped me a lot. You know, coming from my mom, who's a single parent, it can be hard, you know, going through college, coming from lower income places and everything, but CSU definitely gives you a peace of mind with financial areas. I want to show that it's possible to, you know, make it through this college experience. Definitely want to be the first pilot in my direct family. Charleston Southern was the best option for me.
Lindenwood's offense coming on for the first time in this second half, trailing 21-7. And Ford, we talked about it over the halftime break. Nate Lance is going to have to put this team on his back. They're going to have to establish some sort of a run game, and it's tough to start that when you're in the shadow of your own end zone.
Yeah.
First and 10, the carry goes to Rhodes, and he has stood up.
And that play is just a synopsis of the first half for Lindenwood's run game. Not getting any push.
It's like Hugo Gill or Justin Waters were in there. This linebacking crew for Charleston Southern. Gabe Gardini said they are the leaders. They are the very steady hand. They've seen a lot of ball. They don't get phased at all. And they're really influential out there. So second and long. Give again to Rhodes. Bounces off one defender. Not the second. Picks up maybe a yard. Brings up third and long.
It's challenging because you don't want to throw the ball when you're backed up this close to your goal line, because if any kind of tip ball leads to a score down here so low. But now you have to. Now it's 3rd and 8, and Nate Lance is going to have to be Superman here again.
And Ford, I know we're used to elements, but that sun is right there in the eyes of the Lions offense. How big a factor does that play?
It's better to be in Glance's eyes than it is the receivers, because as the receivers go through their route and turn. Yep.
Glance is just going to throw this one out of bounds, looking for his tight end Fugit. And that'll force a punt. So the Buccaneer defense stands strong there.
And that right there is a drive that shows how impactful having a good punter and having good field position is, right? That was a field position battle right there. And having a guy like Gilbert Brown to be able to pin someone deep like that, it completely changes the entire offensive approach for Lindenwood to get away from what they're doing best this whole game, which is putting the ball in Nate Glance's hands.
Glance had to hightail it. He had Portu coming at full steam. Vinatieri punts it away. He's going to have a chance to return here by Roan. Pushing towards the sideline. Has a seam. Splits two defenders, and he's brought down to the 45-yard line. Has an extra Lindenwood defender fall on top of him. But again, it's going to be great field position for the Buccaneers. Starting in Lindenwood territory. As they take a TV timeout on the other side of this break. Zoltan Osborne in the Buccaneer offense. (21-7), Charleston Southern lead. Buccaneer offense back on the field in Lindenwood territory. Buccaneers looking to pad that lead. On 1st and 10, Osborne, plenty of time, guns it out, intended for his tight end, and it's incomplete.
That looked like a miss there from Zoltan, but really what that was, he was expecting his tight end to continue to go out. Instead, he sits down. That's just a miscommunication there from Zoltan to his guy.
Neme Moore is going to get a lot more playing time. We saw earlier Landon Sowers had to be helped off the field. He is out for the remainder of this game, we've been told. So tight end a position to watch for the Buccaneers. They go trip set to the right. Baldwin on the carry. Doesn't get anywhere. Jaden Patrick off the corner blitz brings him down. So another 3rd down and long for the Buccaneers. And Ford, do you think this could be 4-down territory considering where you are on the field, even if they cut it down to maybe 3 or 4 yards?
Again, as a quarterback, I want to say yes, but you guys are playing the field position battle right now. If you have another Gilbert punt that pins them down inside the 10 again, you have a really good chance to continue to dominate this game.
Lions bring the blitz. Ball intended for Bishop, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the Lions on an overthrow. And we have some extracurricular activities going on. Sam Owens on the interception. Almost counts as an arm punt if you're the Buccaneers, and that's our first turnover of the game.
That's the first miss from Zoltan all day long, and he's just trying to hit his man a little too far downfield. It's a great play by the corner to stay behind the receiver the entire time, keep his eyes on Zoltan, and get his hands up for that pick. But the first miss of the day for Zoltan.
Can the Lions build off of that? They'll take over at the 39-yard line. Glance looking left. Quick throw. Connects with his receiver. That's Smith. Jalen Smith will pick up about 8.
Expect Glance to take that short stuff all day long. If Charleston Southern's going to play back like that in that cover 4 look, Glance is going to pick them apart. They've got to switch up their coverages to try to confuse Glance and make it a little bit harder on them.
2nd and short. Glance gives to Rhodes. Rhodes tries to bounce off a defender. Tiptoes up the sideline. They give him the first down. Josiah Wyatt looked like he might have had him in the backfield. Rhodes able to plow forward, though, for the first down.
That's him probably doing just a couple extra shuttles after practice every day that gives him that edge to get and tiptoe up that sideline, take it from a loss of 3 to a gain of about 5.
All we spotted right at midfield. Glance again. Quick pass out, connects with Crobath. And the chains will move once again. Pickup of 10.
And Glance is doing a great job, not getting impatient. You know, you got a lot of time on this clock, only down 2 scores. Now you're in enemy territory. He's going to continue to identify that coverage and just get the ball out to his receivers in open space.
Still plenty of time left in this one. Just over 8.5 minutes to go in quarter number 3. Lions moving the ball well. Glance wants to take a shot downfield, has a man, and that ball is in and out of the hands of Crobath.
And finally, Charleston Southern switched up their coverage there from a deep cover 3 zone to man right there. And that forced just a little bit of discomfort on that coverage there to be able to get a hand in there and get that Glance pass away from getting completed.
Great coverage on the play by Anthony Pauk, redshirt freshman. Came in last season and hurt himself in the 5th practice of the year, was shut down. He's now your starting corner. Glance back to pass again, going up that same sideline, and this time it is caught. Jalen Smith with Pauk in coverage. And that'll be spotted right there at the 10-yard line.
And because they stayed in that one high man and they had a single receiver backside, Nate was able to recognize that and know that if he throws a nice back shoulder, he's going to be wide open and really not have anyone able to cover that.
Can the Lions capitalize? Glance on the QB keeper. Has a lane, and he is cut down just short of the goal line. No, they'll give it to him. Touchdown, Lindenwood. Nate Glance. His second rushing touchdown of the day, and the Lions are back in this ball game.
And I tell you what, man, on that run, he looked just like Diego Pavia, like Coach Gardenia was saying earlier in the week. He, in that black and that gold, just like Vanderbilt wears. This guy is a competitor, man.
So a couple of nice downfield passes from Glance and a use of his feet. And we are an extra point away from it being a 1-score ball game. Glance now 12 of 20 for 133 yards. 2 touchdowns on the ground. They're going to give him 24 rushing yards on the day. Extra point is up and good. Lindenwood scores for the first time in the second half, cuts it to a 1-touchdown game. Got an official TV timeout coming up. You are watching OVC Big South Association football on ESPN. Part by Roper St. Francis, the official medical partner of Charleston Southern. Visit rsh.com for more information. 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Lindenwood with a nice long touchdown drive that ended with a Mike Glance 10-yard scurry and score. And this game was 21-0 midway, or early rather, in the second quarter. And all of a sudden, Lindenwood chipping away slowly but surely.
Nate Glance, man, that's all I got to say. Charleston Southern has got to put together a good drive here and at least try and pin them down deep if they're not able to score, because Nate Glance is getting hot.
Kick sails out of bounds for a touchback. And here comes the Charleston Southern offense. We mentioned very good day for Zoltan Osborne despite throwing that interception on the last drive. We said it was kind of like an arm punt, just led Bishop a little bit too long, but you think back to it, that pass interference wipe a touchdown off the board. That really could have been a game changer for Charleston Southern.
It ended up being a 14-point swing instead of 28-7. Now it's a 1-score game. That was huge.
We'll see how the Buccaneers respond. Baldwin, the tailback, to the right of Osborne. 3 receivers split out. Baldwin gets the carry, and he is not going anywhere. Say it ain't so once again. Jacob Waller, I believe that's 15 tackles now for him today. He has been a monster on that Lindenwood defense.
That run defense is starting to heat up like we talked about. They needed to get some stops in the run game. They're starting to get it.
Waller was a junior college national champion at Iowa Western Community College back-to-back years in 2022 and 2023, as we have an injured player on the field for Lindenwood. Looks like that's Tajay Passmore, but he's okay, stretching out that right leg as he gingerly walks off the field.
If I'm Seth Strickland right now, I got to try and get Zoltan on the move because Lindenwood is expecting you to try to run the ball, and they're starting to get momentum and confidence as they run the ball right down the middle. So I want to get Zoltan on the move here. I want to try to get him comfortable, get him on the edge, and let him use his athletic ability to try to find an open receiver.
Osborne really has not taken any hits or been hurried too much. His pocket's been very clean. Hats off to that Buccaneer offensive line in pass protection. 2nd and 10. Baldwin bouncing it outside. And he'll be pushed out by Sanjay Strickland. Pick up another yard or two. I understand when you're playing with their leads, you want to run the ball, establish the run, and kind of drain that clock. But if you're Seth Strickland, what's going through your head right now?
We've got to get a first down here because you punt from right here, and Nate Glantz is getting the ball back at maybe the 30, 35-yard line. And that for Nate Glantz, it's a short field.
So Bucks with a 3rd down and long. Lions showing blitz. Osborne, plenty of time. Over the middle. Pass is caught. What a grab. Rashawn Cunningham for the first down. Just his 2nd reception of the season, and it's a big one.
That was a game-changing play right there. I mean, an incredible throw from Zoltan to stare down the barrel of the defense, deliver an absolute strike against that too-high safety look, get it right in his receiver's hands for a great first down.
Great grab by the redshirt freshman from Inman. Osborne looking to go downfield again, just off the fingertips of Mekhi Campfield. He had him.
Speaking about Zoltan's calm feet, that story Coach Gardenia told earlier this week of him grounding, him getting in touch with the earth, barefooted on the practice field. Coach Gardenia said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm getting in touch with the earth." He's listening to Lauren Hill, just so calm. And that's showing today in how calm his feet are and how calm his throws are.
Right now, 12 of 18 for 166 yards with the 1 interception. Quarterback bootleg, looking for his tight end. And he'll haul it in. Moore having to step up with the absence of Sowers. That's his first catch of the season, picks up 4.
That big first down pick, it was so monumental because now even if you don't pick up this play, you at least can play the field position battle again. We can try to pin Nate Glantz deep inside his own 20, his own 10.
And we have an Isaiah Gordon sighting. We mentioned the depth of this running back room as he checks in. 3rd and 6. Osborne still plenty of time. Finds his man and it's dropped. Double clutch that ball intended for Chris Roan. And that's a pass he probably wishes he had back.
Absolutely. I'm wondering if Isaiah Gordon is the best pass catching back that they have because he was open on a little swing route. There was no one over there in the flats, and that might have been why they subbed him in there for the first time today.
So Gilbert Brown, who was pretty quiet in that opening 20 minutes, back out to punt it away. Earlier this half, he pinned the Lions inside the 4. We'll see what the All-American can do. It's going to take another Buccaneer bounce, and it'll be down at the 20. So Nate Glantz in this Lions offense going to try and go down and tie this game.
And, man, you've got to get a stop here if you're the Charleston Southern defense. Nate Glantz and this offense have been cooking up ever since the end of that first half. And Nate's playing with probably the most confidence he's had all day after that touchdown run. You can't give him anything cheap, though. You got to come up, try to play a little cover 2, maybe a too-high man, try and confuse Nate here.
We'll see what Coach Rebitz, the defensive coordinator, can do. Little end around action. Trickery from Lindenwood. Ball carrier still going and finally brought down after a gain of 15. That's Christopher Bennett Jr. on the carry. Double reverse.
Momentum is shifting, Justin. I can feel it on the field right now when you start bringing out those trick plays and they work. That starts to really deplete a defense's confidence. Expect them to try and take a shot here.
We already mentioned that the Buccaneers were going to be without 3 of their best defenders, still injured from that Coastal Carolina game a week ago. Glance, quick throw intended for Crowbath, gets it over the head of the defender for a first down.
And that's that 6'3" frame Crowbath has. If he's 6'1", I don't know if he's getting that because he's got that size. He did a great job climbing the ladder on that high throw from Glance.
Mylan Brown just out of his reach. And look at Brown now. He is split out so wide as they're going to give it to the running back this time.
And still nothing.
Revius Woods.
Nothing much doing on the ground for Lindenwood, but it almost doesn't matter because of how productive Glance has been.
Setting up to be a wild finish here at Buccaneer Field in Charleston, South Carolina. Lindenwood is driving, trailing 21-14. Glance looks to his right, throws it out. That's Smith. And he'll be brought down immediately by Anthony Carter. He'll be a couple of yards short. About 3rd and 3 for the Lions. Glance tried to get the Buccaneers to jump, nothing doing. Looks towards the sideline. Woods the tailback. 3 receivers split to the left. Glance, throwing, caught. Pass is completed to Rico Bond. That picks up the first down for the Lions.
Number 9, Anthony Carter, at the top of the screen there, playing corner. He's playing really aggressively because he does not want to get beat on another one of those Nate Glance hitches or quick curls. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Lindenwood do a little stutter and go ball right behind him because they know he's playing antsy, playing up.
Look at Bowens, but all the way out wide. Glance looking to his left, throwing, passes caught, met immediately by Bowen, but that's a first down. Rico Bond.
Another strike there from Glance. He is carving up this defense. They've got to try to confuse him, but they're not able to.
Do you try and send more rushers, or do you add an extra defensive back? What's the possibility here if you're the defensive coordinator for the Bucs?
I think you want to try and keep as many defensive backs in the game right now. You start sending rushers, Nate's going to see that and know exactly what to do with it.
Crowbath thought about throwing it, and he is brought down instead. Lions went into their bag of tricks again. Crowbath was looking downfield for Smith, but the Buccaneers snuffed that out. Loses about 10 yards.
Yeah, that's where those trick plays start to get a little cheap, right? Your drive is cooking. You're cooking with gas with just letting Nate have the ball in his hands and let him make decisive decisions, and now you're way behind the chains.
Great job by Jaden Hancock, who was stride for stride with Smith. 2nd and long. Glance going to his right. Has a man, and he overshoots Crowbath. He had him right there at the 20. Just a touch too high. Brings up a 3rd and long for the Lions.
And Anthony Polk, number 19 there, did a great job staying in that flat, coming down to make and force Glance to have a high throw there, or else that would have been an easy completion.
Lindenwood 4 of 10 on third down today, but they have been much better at moving the ball this second half. 55 seconds to go in quarter number 3. 3rd and 17. Glance, looking to his left, rolls to his left, flushed out of the pocket, throws it. The ball is batted up and incomplete. Angel Miles, the weak side linebacker, was with him. No flag is thrown, and the Lindenwood sideline is beside themselves. That was intended for Darren Fuge at the tight end. Blanket coverage there from the Bucks.
And the interior defensive rush made that play. They actually prevented the touchdown. Nate had a open go ball to the number 1 receiver on the top of the screen that he wanted to get it to, but he just didn't have enough time because that interior defense absolutely pushed through and dominated that young O-line for Lindenwood, forced them into a punt.
So Vinatieri will come on and punt it away. Roan standing at his own 5-yard line. Little pop shot, waves for the fair catch, and he will down it. We'll see where they mark it, right at the 4. So the Buccaneer defense stands strong. We'll see if the Buccaneer offense can respond with 40 ticks to go here in the third quarter. It's Chris Roan looking to get him going today.
If I'm Charleston Southern, I'm feeling much better about being pinned deep than I would be if I'm Lindenwood, because I've been running the ball well all day long, and you've got to run the ball when you're pinned this deep. So expect a lot of inside zone here from Seth Strickland.
Hakeem Waters, 61 yards. Kyshawn Baldwin, 64 yards. They've been the heavy hitters so far today for the Buccaneers. As Baldwin in at the tailback, Osborne lines up under center, making changes at the line. Play clock winding down. Osborne hands it off. Baldwin trying to stretch it, cuts back across the field. Doesn't get much, loses a yard. Great tackle there. That was Josh Newkirk, the defense.
Do that down, pin this deep, so close to your own goal line. You got to just continue to try to turn up field, trying to make a play like that. You can't lose any yardage this deep.
And that will likely be the final play of the third quarter. We head to the fourth. Charleston Southern led 21-0 at one point. Lindenwood has cut it to a one-touchdown game. 21-14 is your score. We are back for the fourth quarter right after this. For a ball game here at Charleston Southern, Buccaneers leading Lindenwood 21-14. Buccaneer offense trying to put this game away, but Lindenwood scratching and clawing. They are not going down without a fight. Bucks second and long from inside their own 5. Baldwin on the carry, picks up maybe a yard. So again, another third down coming up for the Bucks. And it's all about finding that delicate balance. You want to stretch the field, put this game away, but they've had success running the ball, just been so much tougher in between the tackles.
Yeah, Lindenwood knows it's coming too, because again, you really can't throw the ball being backed up this far, but you have to, because you can't have a turnover in this situation and let the game's momentum swing like that. You got to just keep it on the ground and hope that you can open up a hole.
3rd and 10. Osborne gives to Baldwin. Baldwin shakes free. He's across the 10, and he will be stopped short about a yard shy. And that's what we've seen all day today from the Buccaneers. At first, they look like they're stopped, and then they're able to bounce it outside. But Gabe Gardini's not taking any chances. Here comes the punt team.
And that's all a credit to the strength staff here at Charleston Southern. The fact that these guys are able to break so many tackles, I promise you, Lindenwood's defense is not just a bad tackling team. This Charleston Southern roster, and these running backs in particular, are just strong dudes. And they have taken this offseason workout plan really seriously.
Offensive line coach Landon Martin in his first season, and running backs coach Tyler Bell in his third. Making it work today as the Lions field the punt. Turns upfield. Stumbles, and it's going to be Brown who digs him down. Punter tackle. Christopher Bennett on the return, and Lindenwood is going to get the ball back with a very short field.
Well, he doesn't just punt, he can tackle too, and that was a heck of a hit from your punter to prevent a touchdown. But, man, I'm giving Nate Glantz 29 yards to cook up a drive here to try and tie it up in the fourth. It's a tough spot to be for the Charleston defense.
Get social with the Big South. Join the always growing network of Big South fans on Instagram, Facebook, X, and more. Keep up with the latest news or interact with the league and its fans. Follow, watch, like, and share with the Big South Conference. 13 minutes to go in a very short field for Lindenwood, looking to tie this game up. Glantz wants to push it down the field, going towards the end zone. That ball is knocked away. Great coverage by Charleston Southern. That was Keedmon Emilian going stride for stride with the receiver. I believe that was Crobath. Keeps a touchdown off the board.
It's a great play. It's a great play. Nate Glantz saw it was man across the board and took a shot to a little wheel route up the sideline. Just didn't get enough on it.
So 2nd and 10 from the 29. Glantz rolling right. Trying to look for a man. Back across the middle is Smith. And he is brought down by a host of Buccaneer blue. Pile was still going. Sets up the Lindenwood Lions inside the 10. And we've seen that play many times in the second half. Glantz rolls out one side, throws back across the middle, and you as a former quarterback, I know that's not conventional wisdom to do, but in this situation, it's working for him.
That's old school offensive approach of what not to do. New school offensive approach of what to do. That's what Patrick Mahomes does, borderline half the snaps he takes for the Chiefs in his games, and that's probably where Nate Glantz got that from.
So Lions, 1st and goal. Glantz going to keep it. He is going to walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Lions. Buckle up, folks. We have a ball game. Glantz with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the day, and we are an extra point away from a tie ball game.
Justin, is that Nate Glantz or Diego Pavia? I can't tell from up here.
Heck, you just said Patrick Mahomes a second ago.
He's all of them. This guy's a competitor, man. I'm having fun watching him.
Glantz has put this team on his back figuratively and literally. It was once a 21-0 Charleston Southern lead has evaporated. And Will Graham ties the game at 21. Gabe Gardenia's defense looked so strong in that first half. They got after the quarterback. They shut down the run game of the Lions. But since then, it has been the Nate Glantz clinic, so to speak.
Absolutely. He has taken this game into his own hands and said, if no one's going to help me, I'm going to do it myself.
Just got over 12 minutes to go here, and we will step away for a quick media timeout. You're watching OVC Big South Football on ESPN+. Long. Jersey Mike's a sub above.
Justin, we were talking a lot about Nate Glantz's arm coming into this game. Did you think he'd be the leader in rushing touchdowns with 3?
I did not, especially when you have the defending Offensive Rookie of the Year in Steve Hall, but like we mentioned off the top, he's battling an ankle injury. We have not seen him today. Jared Rhodes is the starting running back, and we've seen a couple of split back options here in the latter part of the second half with Laravius Woods. But now we're all knotted at 21. This game is certainly up for grabs. As the Buccaneers field the kick, that's Waters. Waters up the sideline. Waters with plenty of space. And here comes a flag, but Waters stepped out of bounds right at the 50. That was a hold. Hakeem Waters, this freshman, can't say enough good things about him. And unfortunately, a great kickoff return is going to come back. We'll see where they mark it.
Coach Gardini compared him to a go-kart going around a racetrack, hugging those turns. That's what he looks like getting upfield.
Talk about a big blow. Wasn't even a holding. It was a face mask call, so it's a 15-yard penalty, and that'll start the drive at the 23-yard line for Charleston Southern.
Really, really tough blow there for this offense. Waters ignited this team with some momentum off of that return, and to get a penalty like that is killer. Zoltan has got to take over this game here.
Bucks have not scored since the second quarter. Need points here. Osborne hands off to Baldwin. Baldwin turning the corner. Gets a couple of yards, maybe 4, before he's chased out of bounds by Eric Grant. Officially goes down as a gain of 2. And Ford, I'll have to admit, I'm a little dumbfounded. I know the running game is what they want to do, but at this point in the game, you got to start stretching the ball again, right?
Especially if Lindenwood gets another score. Zoltan has got to start getting a little bit more incorporated in this game.
Play action pass. Osborne airing it out, trying to find a man. That's Campfield. Incomplete. Once again, there was Grant on the coverage. Osborne was getting taken down, or chased down rather, and the Buccaneer fans are not happy. They wanted a pass interference call.
Yeah, that probably should have been. He was getting tugged down as the ball got there. It's a great throw by Zoltan to try and give his receiver a shot, and it landed in a great spot. Just unable to come up with it.
So 3rd and long. Buccaneers were pretty solid from 3rd down in the start of the game. They're now 7 of 13. And a timeout is called by Gabe Gardenia. That's their first timeout of the half.
Zoltan was frustrated there, didn't want to take that timeout, really wanted to keep that play. He liked what he saw from the defense.
So the Buccaneers, after I would say, flawless first quarter and opening 5-10 minutes of the second quarter, have really just stalled out. They've been unable to move the ball, and I want to go back to the third quarter. That pass interference on the Jamil Bishop touchdown, that was pretty much the momentum shifter. Since then on, it's been all Lindenwood.
Absolutely, absolutely. This offense has tried to play a little bit of keep away instead of put our foot on the gas. And now you see what happens when you try and play keep away. A quarterback like Nate Glantz is going to make you pay, and now it's a tie ball game. And now you've got to get back into aggressive mode. How are we going to put our foot on their throat now?
So Charleston Southern needs a big play, and they need it right now. 11:30 to go. We're all tied at 21. 3 receivers split to the right. Osborne. Clean pocket over the middle. That's Campfield for a first down. Hit him in stride, and he is brought down around midfield. There's that big play we were talking about.
Every time you think Zoltan isn't going to come back and make a play, he does. Split the 2 high safeties again and shredded him down the middle for a huge gain there.
And that might have been the best touch pass we've seen from Osborne all day today.
Absolutely. A strike.
Bucks trying to get some momentum back. Baldwin finds a seam, picks up 6, and a late flag comes in, but it looks like that may be against the Lions as a helmet pops off. And Osborne's indicating the same. So Sam Owens will get called for that flag, gives the Buccaneers an extra 15 yards, and they'll take it. That ball is going to get spotted right around the 25-yard line. And all of a sudden, after stalling out the last quarter and a half, the Buccaneers finally shifted into first gear at least. We probably won't go further than that right now, but shifting gears is still a good idea. I don't drive a stick, so don't hold me to that. First and 10, Osborne wants to take a shot, escapes the pocket, rolls out, has a man. Rashawn Cunningham with another big grab inside the 10.
And Coach Strickland is letting Zoltan do exactly what we said. We're letting him take over the game. This guy is so calm, and that calm presence is radiating through his offense right now.
Buccaneers go and hurry up. And a flag is thrown. Looks like an offensive lineman may have gotten a little early. So that's Justin Joe, the center, with a little premature snap. Backs it up to the 15. But you're right. Osborne looks like his old self here on this drive. Escaping the pocket, stretching the field.
Well, you know, it seems to me like, you know, early in the game, there's probably a little bit of pressure on him to play well, and he did. You get to the middle of the game, not a lot of pressure to play well, and we're tailing off towards the end of the game. That pressure's back on him, and this is when he's at his best. I love to see it.
Under 10 minutes to go, Osborne. They give to Baldwin, stretching it outside. Doesn't get much. Is that ball on the ground? Waiting for an official call from the referee. Did you see it pop out?
I did see it pop out. I think it came out early, too.
Buccaneers have it.
Oof.
Justin Joe, who just had that penalty called on him, recovers the fumble.
That would have been catastrophic for Charleston Southern. The first really good drive they've had since very early in this game. Can't just throw it away like that. Lucky to come up with it.
So the Bucs recover their own fumble. They look to the sideline for a play call. It's going to be second down and goal from the 14. Osborne to Baldwin. Baldwin up the middle, still chugging. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, brings up third and goal from the 9.
And if you're Seth Strickland here, this is where you put the ball in Zoltan's hands and you let him make a great decision here. Because you're not going to score a touchdown if you keep it on the ground. And if you score a field goal here, your gut's telling you Nate Lance is going to go down and score a touchdown, and you're going to be down 4 points here in a couple minutes. You've got to get this ball in the end zone here.
And the good thing for Osborne is that he has spread the ball out. 5 different receivers have caught a ball today.
Crucial call here from Coach Strickland.
Roan in motion. Little pitch to him, and he is going to be stuffed. Sanjay Strickland was the first one in there, and it's going to go down as a loss of 2, and on comes the field goal unit.
Coach Strickland's called such a great game all day long. In that situation, I'd love to see Zoltan be able to make a decision. He's been playing so well too. Want to see that ball stay in Zoltan's hands on a third down like that.
So here comes Zach Gordon, the junior from Western New Mexico. Just his second attempt of the season. He was good from 38 against Vanderbilt 2 weeks ago. Kick is up, and it is no good. Not sure if they got a tip on it, but it is wide left. And a great drive for Charleston Southern ends in nothing. After this media timeout, Lindenwood back on the field looking to take their first lead of the game. You're watching OVC Big South Football on ESPN+. New caffeine-free soda that provides a crisp, clear burst of lemon lime flavor. Starry is available in both original and zero sugar varieties, so pick up yours today. 7:27 to go here in the fourth quarter. Lindenwood looking to take their first lead of the game. Rhodes gets the carry, and he is dropped after a short gain. Flag deep in the backfield. This could be coming back. That's a hold on the right tackle, Andrew Swingle. It's going to be half the distance to the goal. So both of these teams having trouble when they're backed up far into their end zone, minus that one great drive from Lindenwood early in the third quarter.
Tough to get something going when you're behind the chains like that, but expect them to play off coverage here, and Nate Glantz to take advantage of that.
So 1st and 20. Glantz rolls right, looking, throwing it down the sideline, has Horvath, he catches it and toe taps it in.
Or they're going to play off coverage, and Nate Glantz is still going to throw a 45-yard bomb down to left sideline and complete it.
Crowbat had a very small window, and Jaden Hancock was right there in front of him, but great ball placement, great catch. Lindenwood's back in business. Glantz gets it out to Bond. Bond makes one man miss, but he's brought down by Avery Dixon. Maybe a horse collar, so tack on 15 more.
And in 2 plays, the game's momentum has completely shifted, right? You're thinking Charleston Southern's going to go down and score a touchdown. You miss the field goal. Nate Glantz comes out and throws a bomb on top of another penalty. And just like that, it looks like Lindenwood has got all the momentum.
And Glantz threw that ball from his own end zone to Crowbath. And in 2 plays, they're now at the Charleston Southern 30. What a swing of momentum indeed. So 1st and 10 from the Lions at the CSU 30. Glantz rolls right. Goes across the middle, has Bond, but looks like he slipped and a bit of an underthrow. He was open. Buccaneer faithful hoping for something, a stop, a turnover. Only one turnover today, and it came from the arm of Zoltan Osborne. As Rhodes gets the carry, shakes off a couple of defenders and turns upfield, and he is pushed out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Anthony Carter shoved him out. Great job by Rhodes to make something out of nothing.
That's got to be the best run play of the day for Lindenwood, right? Their O-line's having a tough time opening up holes on the inside. So Rhodes is able to push to the outside and, with his speed, work up that sideline for a nice first down there, get them inside the 20.
Fresh set of downs from the 15. Tried to get the Bucks to jump off sides. Nothing doing. As Glantz looks back to the sideline, can't get a play call in. Play clock at 3. They get the play off. Or not, as Jed Stugart calls timeout. So that's their first of the half. We'll keep it here. 30-second timeout. I have to say, I think you almost are pretty good at this whole foreshadowing thing, Ford. You said Glantz is going to get a chance on a short field, go down and score. You called that. And now the Lions are here on the verge of taking their first lead of the game with 5 minutes and change to go.
I think Glantz is feeling really good about where he's put his team. And the OC for Lindenwood has done a great job of just allowing Nate to take over the game, not try to take the ball out of his hands, but let Nate do what he does best, and let's let him cook, right? I expect some really aggressive play calls here and some really aggressive and confident throws from Nate to try and get the first lead of the game for Lindenwood.
Glantz 19 of 31 for 234 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. What does he have here? Glantz looking to his right. Wants the end zone for Bond. He's got it. Incomplete.
Just a great throw there from Glantz, having a little wheel up the sideline from his guy Bond. It's a great ball, but Bond just not able to get 1 foot down. Glantz wants to replay it.
That's the second or third time they've looked over to the sideline, maybe to try and get a review.
And he's going to get it.
So they're going to go under the hood, and they're going to look at this. It's on the far sideline from us. We couldn't tell, but I don't know. That maybe he got a toe in, but it's going to be a close call.
It looked tight. I don't think he was in. I do not think he was in, but the ball placement really couldn't have been any better by Nate Glantz.
And a great route, too, by Bond. Looks like he had a little hook route and then peeled out on a go. So, you know, this team is going into their bags of tricks, and they are executing pretty flawlessly here in the second half. As some of the officials, or excuse me, some of the other coaches along the Lindenwood sideline, they're throwing up their hands. They're pretty sure it's a touchdown.
And even if it's not, that throw probably gave Nate Glantz even that much more confidence to take another shot into the end zone, because he's seeing his balls land on his receiver's nose in the end zone, and they're threatening for that first lead of the game.
Referee is still chatting with the OVC folks back at home command.
I love the energy that Nate Glantz plays with. It's like he's a middle linebacker playing quarterback, like that Baker Mayfield energy. Really, really just competitive and aggressive. And I love the energies that both quarterbacks are providing in this game, but it's two polar opposites. You got one guy, Zoltan Osborne, who is calm, collected, and going to be poised the entire game, and Nate Glantz, who is a fired-up Baker Mayfield, going to get in your face, going to go shout at the refs, if you will, and try to will his team in the end zone.
So the call just came in, and it is still an incomplete pass. So great effort there by Bond, but it'll just be 2nd and 10 for the Lions at the 15. Still plenty of time to go. Lindenwood knocking on the door. And again, the story of this game, Buccaneers were out to a 21-0 lead, but it has been all Lindenwood since.
Looks like they're going to try to keep it on the ground here with their tight end in the backfield.
Fugit next to him. Here's Rhodes up the middle. He gets a couple. Finally brought down there by Zayakowski. So it sets up a 3rd and long. Buccaneers missed a field goal on their last drive. And that could prove costly here.
It's a great call there by Desi Havorka to set up 3rd and medium, 3rd and manageable. He's going to put the ball in Glantz's hands and allow him to make a throw here against man coverage.
Glantz to the end zone. Bond! Touchdown, Lions! What a throw, what a grab, what a game by those two.
What a ball by Nate Glantz. Great coverage identification. There was no one over top of Bond. I don't know how you leave him uncovered like that. Must have had a blitzer coming off the edge, but that's called replacing a defender. If there's nobody that's over top of your receiver, you're replacing that zone with your receiver, and that Nate did just that, and now they're up for the first time in the game.
And just look at the sidelines. The Buccaneers are in shock and awe, and the Lions, they are thrilled by this result. Extra point is up and good. And Lindenwood takes its first lead of the game with 4.5 minutes to go. 28 unanswered by the Lions.
That's called the Nate Glantz show right there, Justin.
And for the first time, he didn't use his feet. 3
No.
rushing touchdowns, his first passing touchdown, and the 2nd touchdown of the year for Rico Bond.
But don't count out this Charleston Southern offense. Zoltan Osborne had a really nice drive last time out, played really, really calm. I think this offense is going to come out really confident, seeing them get all the way down inside the 10-yard line last drive. Just weren't able to finish it off with the field goal, but expect Zoltan to answer here.
I know you don't want to completely abandon the run game, but at this point you need chunk plays, you need scores, and running between the tackles, getting 1 or 2 yards of carry is just not going to cut it anymore.
Absolutely, absolutely. The good thing is that you do have enough time to be able to have a run here and a run there, maybe not the entire drive, but I also don't want to plan on giving Nate Glantz any time to get Lindenwood down in the field goal range. I want to try to eat up this clock as I continue to work down the field.
Keep in mind, too, we've seen a lot of Kamarian Baldwin today. We were told that Brandon Mush is out with an injury. He is currently on the sideline in a sling, so he's done for today and could be done for a while. That's the reason we've seen Lindenwood kicking it away. It's returnable. And here comes the freshman once again. Ball's on the ground. It's still on the ground, and the Lions recover it. Talk about a gut punch for the Buccaneers. A turnover on the kickoff. Hakeem Waters has had a great day. The freshman running back coughs it up here on the kickoff. And Lindenwood can now put this game away.
You can put it on ice really easy here if you're Nate Glantz in this Lindenwood offense. All you need is about 10 yards to really get into a nice, easy field goal range. The thing is, they haven't been running the ball well, so they're going to have to get that yardage through the air. If I'm Charleston Southern, I'm playing man coverage across the board, making this as uncomfortable of a defensive possession as I possibly can for Nate Glantz.
Second turnover of the day for the Buccaneers.
And look up at the top of the screen. They couldn't be playing further off. You might have a bubble screen here. You might have something quick in the slot, like a hitch to Bond.
They're going to give it to Rhodes. Rhodes rumbling, stumbling forward. He's met by Waters in the hole. Not after a gain of 5, though. So Will Graham has not hit a field goal at all this season. Kicking has been a big issue for the Lions, but he may be called upon to put this game on ice here. Offsides free play for the Lions. Here's Crobath. Incomplete, and another flag comes in. Looks like they're going to get Carter on a defensive pass interference and an offside on Hurts. Here's the official.
That has been one of the biggest differences in this game up to this point. That graphic just came up before those penalties. 9-2, Charleston Southern to Lindenwood in terms of penalties. That's been a huge difference maker in terms of field position and missed opportunities. One of those penalties coming on that rub route that would have put Charleston Southern up 28-7. Now they find themselves down 28-21.
And it's very bizarre for a Gabe Gardini team who is normally so disciplined to have 9 penalties today. But I guess that's what happens when a team climbs back. You lose a little bit of focus, and you touched on it. That was basically the turning point of this game, was that touchdown that was called back on the offensive pass interference. Buccaneers would have gone up 28-7 midway through the third quarter.
And that score really would have taken the sails out of Lindenwood.
Lindenwood now on the verge of the end zone again. Rhodes up the middle, gets a yard.
And that's the one thing Charleston Southern can continue to hold its hat on is their run defense. They are not allowing anything from Lindenwood's rushing attack, which is going to keep them in this game.
So Gabe Gardini is going to burn his second timeout here with 3:44 to go. We'll see if his defense can hold them, because they may need to get chunk plays and fast to get back into this one.
Well, and we saw Charleston Southern's kicker miss a field goal, a really short field goal. If you can try to keep Lindenwood's offense to one hash or the other, that doesn't make it as easy of a kick. When it's right down the middle, that kick is going to be a lot easier for their kicker. And a guy who hasn't kicked a field goal all year long, You want to try to make this as difficult as possible because it's going to be a short one.
Though Nate Glantz may have other plans. Gabe Gardenia called him Houdini-esque. He's able to just disappear on you and whip something out of nothing, and he certainly showcased that today. He'd rather end with 7 and really put this game away. So 2nd and 9. Quarterback keeper for Glantz. He's got nowhere to go. Maybe dives forward for a yard. And you mentioned the hash.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it would be a kick from the right hash if Graham is to come out to get 3. As the Bucs use their final timeout now, 3:41 to go. It'll be 3rd and 6 upcoming for the Lions.
Not going to be a long field goal if they don't pick up this first down. But crazier things have happened. And we just saw Charleston Southern's kicker miss a kick from a very similar distance. That's the only thing you can really hope for here if you're Charleston Southern is just a botched kick.
So even if it was an incomplete pass, it would be about a 24, 27-yard field goal from here. But we'll have to see how this down goes first. 3rd and 6 for the Lions. Trying to put the final nail in the coffin here against Charleston Southern. Glantz rolls to his right, looking. He's going to take off himself. He's got the first down and more. Glantz extends. And he is marked down at the 1-yard line.
That was a
Nate Glantz does it again. Houdini and all.
You're not kidding, Houdini and all, and it was a great run. Charleston Southern almost got one there, though. Glantz tried to lean the ball out to the goal line, and he almost got swatted before he got down. That would have been a huge play for Charleston Southern's defense.
So we do have another timeout. So my mistake, I believe one of those timeouts was Lindenwood. So this is Gabe Gardenia's final timeout. Or actually, it's a injury timeout. We have a player down in the end zone. Looks to be a Buccaneer player.
You've got to be hurting now if you're Charleston Southern, watching that 21-0 lead evaporate like that. And you didn't really play bad when you were up 21-0. It just kind of didn't do anything. And Nate Glantz put on a cape, and now you're down 7.
We're going to step away for a quick moment. We'll be right back after this. Right now, Lindenwood is 1 yard away from putting this on ice. 3 minutes to go. Play clock at 5. Glantz to Rhodes, plowing forward. Does he cross the plane?
He got the ball.
Ball is out. Ball is out. Referee has not made a signal yet. 2nd down.
Oh.
Lions recover. What a swing that would have been.
That's a gut punch to Charleston Southern. That ball came out. He was not down. It would have been a huge play.
Rhodes was riding the pile wave. Someone knocked the ball free. And that looks like it'll be the final play before the 2-minute intermission. What a game this has turned out to be. Lindenwood overcomes a 21-0 deficit, and they are 2 minutes away from securing their first win of 2025. We will step away one last time. You are watching OVC Big South football on ESPN+. Ohio Valley School is now in its second season as the association, as we call it. Charleston Southern and Gardner Webb, the two lone Big South programs. To come up to 2nd and 1 from the 1. Lindenwood. The give to Rhodes, he's in. Touchdown, Lindenwood. And that should do it for the Lions. An improbable comeback, and one that they are going to dance and cheer about all the way back to St. Charles, Missouri.
Well, Nate Glantz is at a total of 270 yards, all-purpose, 4 touchdowns. He just put on a cape today. This comeback of being down 21-0 is all on Nate Glantz's shoulders.
The native of Elkhorn, Nebraska, played at McNeese State back in 2023, came here to Lindenwood, and is going to give the Lions their first win of the season, their first conference victory of the season. And this is going to be a game they talk about for ages. Remember the comeback at Charleston Southern. Down 21-0, they've scored 35 unanswered, and the crowd is mute here at the Shipyard.
And Charleston Southern had complete control of this game for the first quarter and 75% of the second quarter. And it's just been tragic to see them lose grip on this game like this.
I'm not sure how many people are watching from the conference headquarters, but if Nate Glantz is ever going to be the offensive player of the week for the OVC Big South, I think this resume is quite telling.
Yeah, he'd be my vote for sure.
Right now, 20 of 34, 246 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 touchdown passing, sacked twice way back in the first quarter. That feels like, a year ago at this point.
It does.
Jalen Smith, 96 yards on 6 receptions. Crobath, 80 yards on 5 receptions. Spreading the love around. Here's the high kick from Graham. We'll see if Hakeem Waters, who fumbled his last time out, can get a shot at redemption. Instead, he'll be brought down at the 30. Minute 52 to go. You got to have a 2-minute offense, an onside kick, and a couple other balls bounce your way. So we've seen some crazier things for it, but right now, Zoltan Osborne has to find something. And if Nate Glantz is Houdini, Osborne's got to be Copperfield, right?
Absolutely. That makes sense. And Osborne's played himself a really nice game, too. He's had complete control of this offense for most of the game, and let's see if he can cook something up.
1st and 10 from the 30. Osborne, quick pass out, finds his man. That's Cunningham. What a good game he's had. Bucks in the hurry-up offense. 1:40 to go.
Lindenwood is going to give them the underneath stuff, so continue to take it if you're Zoltan.
Osborne looking right this time. Finds his tight end. Takes a big hit. Moore, though, picks up the first down. Ball right around midfield.
And they're moving fast. They're getting up to the line fast and getting these plays off quickly. It's exactly what you want to see if you're Seth Strickland.
Under 90 seconds to go. Fresh set of downs for the Bucks. Osborne, clean pocket, steps up, looking, finds his running back in and out of the hands of Baldwin.
And Zoltan should have just kept running with that. He had a lane to take off for maybe 10, 15 yards down the left sideline.
Would have had to go out of bounds. Buccaneers no timeouts remaining with a $1:16 to go.
That's where leaving your eyes downfield for too long ends up biting you because you miss out on that running lane as a quarterback.
Obviously, the Charleston Southern team will be very disappointed with how this goes, but a pretty good day if you're Zoltan Osborne. 18 of 27, 230 yards. Did have the 1 interception, but he's in pretty good, all things considered. So we now have a delay of game.
And just as we give kudos to how great Zoltan's been doing, get the first delay game penalty of the game.
And the Buccaneers are quite literally going to limp to the finish line in this one. Lost a couple of key guys, and things are just kind of, the wheels are falling off right now. 2nd and 15. Osborne to the sideline. That's Cunningham again. He makes a nice spin move and steps out of bounds.
And a great throw from Zoltan to the wide side of the field on a hitch route. That looks like just a little 5-yard route that he threw. But when you're throwing it to that wide part of the field like that, that's a really strong arm throw there from Zoltan.
Sets up a 3rd and 4. 71 seconds to go. Osborne still looking, dumps it off to Gordon. Gordon will pick up the first down. That'll stop the clock temporarily as they move the chains. 64 seconds to go. As we have an injured player down on the field, that's Colin Sorensen, the left tackle. Another player banged up for the Bucs. Antoine Mitchell is the backup left tackle, the freshman from Hanahan. He was an all-region honoree at OL and DL his junior year. But you'd hate to see that if you're a Buccaneer fan.
Especially with how well their offensive line played really all of today. They kept Zoltan from getting pressured, and they really opened up a lot of lanes in the running game. So you hate to see that happen to your brick wall up front.
So for Charleston Southern, this would be their 13th consecutive loss. They have not won since they defeated Furman in an upset on September 7th of last year. And the road does not get much easier. You're at William & Mary of the CAA next week. But then back home September 27th against a very good SC State team who we saw really push South Carolina a week ago at Williams-Brice. Then the crux of your conference play begins with Gardner-Webb, Tennessee Tech, at Western Illinois and Eastern Illinois to round out October. So we're going to learn a lot about Gabe Gardenia and this team here over the next 6 to 8 weeks.
They did not finish how they wanted to, but in a way this game can give them a lot of confidence because they absolutely mauled Lindenwood in the run game. And Zoltan had the best game he's had this season. So there's a lot of good to take away from this game. It's just the answer is Nate Glantz put on a cape. And he's probably going to be the conference player of the year if he keeps playing like this.
Speaking of good news, Colin Sorensen walking off the field right now. Needs to be assisted, but after what we saw earlier with the loss of Landon Sowers, you'll take that. So again, Mitchell in at left tackle. Officially 1 minute, 5 seconds to go. 1st and 10 from the Lindenwood 45. Quick pass out to Chris Roan. He is met immediately. Great tackle by Jacob Waller. What's that now? 18 tackles for him today? We have said that name a lot.
Closing in on 20 for sure.
49 seconds to go and counting. 2nd down. Osborne, plenty of time towards the sideline. That's the tight end once again. Moore.
It's a great ball.
Ball marked out at the 25-yard line.
This is picture perfect of how you want to see your quarterback execute a 2-minute drill. Zoltan has done a fantastic job getting the ball out of his hands quick, taking what defense is giving him, and taking shots when he can.
Buccaneers catching their breath for a quick second. Gordon is the back, split right of Osborne. Osborne chased out of the pocket. Looking, just tosses it out. He gets a last-second shove. No penalty flag.
Smart play there. Don't force anything. Because really, best case scenario for Charleston Southern, if you get a score here in the next 14 seconds and you're able to get an onside kick, you still have an opportunity to get a Hail Mary. I know this game seems like it's completely out of reach, and it very well could be, but there's a chance.
We saw an onside kick, a successful one from Charleston Southern last year, so it can be done.
Absolutely. So it's a good play there by Zoltan to not try and force anything.
34 seconds to go, 2nd and 10 from the 25. Osborne looking, steps up in the pocket, has a man on his back, going towards the end zone. Jump ball, caught! Touchdown Buccaneers! Oh my goodness, Rashawn Cunningham! You just got mossed.
So just what they needed, Justin. I tell you what, they got 26 seconds. You kick the extra point here. You go onside kick. Crazier things to happen.
Sports Center Top 10, you are put on notice. That better be in the highlights tonight. Rashawn Cunningham, the redshirt freshman who played at Chapman, in the upstate. Oh, my goodness.
26 seconds give them enough time if they're able to recover this onside kick to have a couple throws to get him in the Hail Mary range.
So Zach Gordon, who missed that field goal midway through the fourth quarter, on to get the extra point, cut it to a 7-point game. Then, of course, is the craziness with the onside kick. Kick is up, and it is good. So hold your horses, folks. Don't go away anywhere.
So you're saying there's a chance, Justin?
Just a chance. Just a chance. We've seen crazier things over the years. Hail Marys, kick sixes, all sorts of things. It ain't. I said it earlier. It's not over till the clock hits 0.
And I'm seeing a 2 and a 6 on there.
So if you're the special teams coach for Charleston Southern, what is your message to the team right now?
Everybody go absolutely drill somebody in the face and try to get them away from this ball. This is going to be bodies flying all over the place.
So it's going to be Will Lang, the kickoff specialist, doing it. He's got the ball. Looks like he's going to kick to the right. Is he going to reverse plane? Nice jump, but we have a whistle. Looks like a pretty good kick.
I like the angle of it.
I think Lindenwood called a timeout to get their formation right.
And that was a great timeout because that kick's angle looked like a perfect onside, going over the first line, getting down in the middle. Can he do it again? Because that was picture perfect.
I want to try and say, again, we had a successful onside try last year for Charleston Southern. I remember Jack Jalongshaw and I were sitting in here, and you can't advance a kickoff once you recover an onside kick because I believe it was Chris Roan who recovered it and had a straight line to the end zone. We were like, what's going on? What's going on? So just for those of you watching at home, if the Bucks recover it, they cannot advance it on the kick. So if they recover it, it could be about midfield with 25 seconds to go, but they got to get the recovery first. Will Lang, what do you have, sir?
I'd like to have more guys on that right side if they're going to go to the right side.
Here's the onside kick. They're going to go for it. Ball's picked up by Charleston Southern. It's not over, folks. Steve Zayakowski recovers it. Will Lang tried to get it himself. It took a bounce off that first defender, but they are signaling that it was an early touch.
No, don't do that.
They're going to have to review this. The Lindenwood fans players went to the sideline.
I didn't think he touched it earlier, did you?
I don't think so either. Will Lang was waiting for it.
He did a good job waiting. I saw him not.
Here's the
being
call.
impatient.
So it is called an illegal touching. I don't think they can. So they are going to go under the hood and look. Again, from our vantage point, I didn't see a touch.
I didn't see a touch either.
So if Charleston Southern's able to get this football, they would have 22 seconds from their own 45.
That's a few chunk plays you can get to try to get and not even have to throw a Hail Mary.
You can feel the Buccaneer faithful. There's a collective clenching of the breath.
there's wind back in the sails of the Charleston Southern faithful here at Buccaneer Stadium.
What a game this turned out to be.
Absolutely. High scoring. Got an onside kick, possible recovery.
Now, look, Gabe Gardenia is signaling his offense
Wow.
to come out. We have not gotten any indication from the referee. But the Buccaneer offense is surrounded by Gabe Gardenia. So they must think they have the ball.
You got to love to see it if you're a Charleston Southern fan.
Now, Ford, let's just play a hypothetical. If the Buccaneers are able to recover and then score, do you go for the kick and the tie to go to overtime, or do you play for the win?
You go for 2. You don't let Nate Glantz get the ball back. You got to end this thing right now and walk it off.
From
so to
your
speak.
lips to God's ears. We'll see what happens after this call. Referee is still talking to home command. We have not gotten any indication one way or the other. They're taking a real long look at this.
And just about 5 minutes ago, we felt like this game was over. Charleston Southern had to go 80 yards to put a score together, and they did it really quick. And now we're in this position where we might have ourselves an onside kick and a Hail Mary, or maybe even overtime.
This review's going on, I want to say, 3 minutes now. We're looking over at our friends next door. They have not got any indication. Neither do the coaches or to the other side of us. And they are still discussing this at home command.
That's got to be a good sign for Charleston Southern, though.
Again, Gabe Gardenia has the offense surrounding him. The defense is kind of broken up to the left-hand side. We have not gotten any indication one way or the other.
I think you just let him play it out. Why not just give it to him if it's that close?
I mean,
everybody likes to see an exciting finish, Justin, right?
exactly. I mean, I've seen a lot of Charleston Southern football over the years, but this is one of the wilder finishes I've seen.
Let the boys play, huh?
Let's think about this if you're a Charleston Southern fan. Home opener last year, you lose on a missed kick. Here's the call. So it stands as an illegal touching, and that is the ball game. Lindenwood will just come out, take a knee, and the Buccaneer faithful receive the final gut punch. What could have been?
That's a brutal call there. Brutal call for Charleston Southern.
So it was once a 21-0 Charleston Southern lead. Lindenwood came back and scored 35 consecutive points before a late touchdown by the Bucs off an insane grab by Rashawn Cunningham. And the Buccaneers are going to lose here to drop to 0-3. Quick turnaround, though, as they head out to William and Mary next Saturday. And that's going to do it. Nate Glantz, probably the MVP of this game for sure, and likely the OVC Big South player of the game. Your final score, Lindenwood 35, Charleston Southern 28. From our entire broadcast crew, from Ford Werness, I'm Justin Beagle. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.